Welcome to Armchair Expert. I'm Dax Shepard, and I'm joined by Monica Padman.
Hi.
And we have a peer on today, Alex Cooper, who's the host of Call Her Daddy. Unless you were born within the last 8 hours, you know Call Her Daddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's her great podcast. She's here today to talk about her new docuseries premiering on Hulu June 10th called Call Her Alex. And it's an awesome documentary. I really, really loved it. It was very special to learn so much about someone that I just know socially and I like. And this is a very special episode.
It is.
I felt very, very, very grateful for how open and lovely she was.
Me too.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Please enjoy our friend, Alex Cooper. We are supported by
Domino's.
You'd be hard-pressed to find two people that love Domino's more than you and I. It's an integral part of our friendship.
When we were just baby friends.
We discovered we both love Domino's, and we ordered it with reckless abandon. If you haven't tried Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza yet, what are you waiting for? With a buttery flavored crust, melty cheese, and real Parmesan sprinkled on top, every bite is absolutely packed with flavor. Order one today at Domino's.com.
He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert. He's an armchair expert.
Orna's in it.
How good is she?
We love Orna.
It's coming back like on Friday.
It's back.
Oh, do you want to know something?
Yes.
I'm so in the in. I already watched it.
Stop. You got advanced
You got some
screeners.
screenies?
Yeah, but it was annoying because it had my email right in the middle. And so it was constantly covering everyone's eyes.
Yeah.
But I'm that much of a crazy person addicted to that show that I was like, I don't even care. I'm going to watch it like this.
You're not the person I met who has her as a therapist, are you?
Oh my God, no. But I definitely have joked to her being like, Orna, like, come on. And she's
Yeah.
like, no, Alex, it's full conflict of interest. I'm like, but what if we just did like a session?
Yeah.
Like she is so, the way she like leans forward is like,
It's her one braid.
oh, she's so chic and
I just
beautiful.
think she's like the hottest woman
Yes.
alive.
She
Yeah.
has this aura about her that you can't stop staring at her. And Matt thinks I'm insane because I binge the whole thing.
Yeah,
like
you
I
have
do a
to.
day where I
Uh-huh.
just
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
and he's like, I like therapy, but I'm not that into therapy.
Sure.
Like you're fucking insane. And I was like,
it's not a sport.
no, but I loved it.
I
Like
know.
I'm
There's something voyeuristic
Oh.
about it, that show specifically, because it's like this, where you're like peeking in.
I
It's the
love therapy
deepest
so
secrets.
much. I could just sit all day and watch anyone in their own session.
Yeah. Well, have you ever listened to Esther Perel's Mating
Yes.
in Captivity? Similar, like, wow, I can't believe I get to hear this. And I'm
I know.
so delighted to hear it.
I know. Like I paused on my therapy recently because she was my therapist in New York. And I was just getting to the point where I'm like, I think I need to do in person. Like I really have missed it.
Yeah.
And so I haven't had a therapist for a couple months. And Matt the other day was like, I'm going to therapy. Do you want to come? Like joking. And I was like, wait, yeah. And he was like, wait, really? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So his therapist is 2 blocks away from our office. So we walk there and we go into a couples therapy session together with his therapist. I just showed up. We
Kind of
didn't give her-
unannounced.
Yes. And she was
unplanned.
like, nice to meet you, which then I thought, how big of a mindfuck for a therapist?
Oh my God, I'd be
when
like,
you
absolutely
meet
not.
the person that your client just
Who's
talks
been
about all the
complaining
time.
about.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
it's me. Hello. And she's like, oh my
the
fucking God.
monster's
Right.
here.
I just had a huge kind of issue with this. I have a therapist I love. If you need her, I can recommend.
Okay, yeah. Just
She's
give her to me.
incredible.
But she's Zoom as well. So same-ish.
You might be able to see her in person. I just don't.
Okay.
But anyway, she's incredible. And I had a friend who wanted a therapist. And so I reached out to her to get a recommendation. This whole thing ensued where basically my friend ended up calling my therapist to ask her for a recommendation. And I like panicked when I heard this information. I was like, you can't, that is such a boundary crossed. Like you can't just go call my therapist without
crazy.
asking. And then she, was a whole thing. We had to have a whole conversation about it. And she was like, yeah, I really shouldn't have done. It was wild.
But the thing that I like empathize 1% about that, because that is not appropriate, but like it's hard to find a good therapist.
is.
Yeah.
So when you have a friend that has one, you're like, no, you better either share or tell me someone that she
I get
recommends
it.
because it's all by word of mouth. Like you can't, it's hard. It's really
Okay,
hard.
but hold on. This Monica.
Yeah.
So would you say this flies under kind of a jealousy umbrella?
It's an intimacy. Like she
Mm.
knows more about me than anyone on earth.
Right.
Truly.
Including you, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As they do in 4 minutes.
Right.
And I mean, it's a bit of a longer story. I did get a recommendation for this person. I gave it, and then that person didn't call
Oh.
my friend back. So then they asked me again to check in again. And I was like, no, she's done her job. Like, I'm not going to keep doing that. And then there was I'm going to find my way.
I'm going through my mental Rolodex of your friends to
Right, you're like,
decide who's that
right, who did
entitled
this?
that they were like, wait,
Who
they
did
didn't call. I need a call back.
To be fair, this person has never had, and this is, I had compassion for this.
Yeah.
And I was like, this person has never had a therapist, doesn't really understand that is a
Sacred.
very
She's
very
learning the
important
boundaries.
relationship.
But let me ask you this. Would you be opposed to a good friend of yours just using your therapist? Is that an issue for you?
I guess it depends on the person. If it's someone I'm talking about a ton,
That's
that's probably a no.
Would you
yeah,
care?
I wouldn't care unless that person was a focal point in my life where
Exactly.
I really talked about them in therapy. Because I have friends that I've never even mentioned in therapy, and then I have friends who I talk about incessantly. So
Exactly.
it depends where you are on that
Yeah.
scale.
Yes.
No, okay, great. So would
Okay.
your fear be,
Okay.
there's a couple options. So your fear would be somehow your therapist would leak these complaints to your friend who's now seen her, or, and I don't think that's it,
Yeah.
or I think deeper might be, my therapist is going to see this person, meet them, and realize I'm nuts that I have so many issues with them.
No.
Like what? Is it either of those?
You know what? No. I think it's more that I would be nervous that she wouldn't be able to do her job correctly because in some capacity as a therapist, you are in this little vortex
Yeah.
where you're taking in the information that they're solely giving you. Everyone has their own
Exactly.
perspective in life.
Yeah.
And so I would worry that if I was saying something negative about this person and then this person was talking in a way that wasn't congruent with what I had said, she would just have a hard time being like, well, who the fuck is right? Who the fuck is wrong? So I just
Yeah.
would worry it would make her life hard. And
Exactly.
I
But,
want
but
to
can I
be a
argue?
people pleaser.
But can I argue they don't believe anything you're saying
No.
in a traditional sense,
That's
right?
fair.
Yeah, like they're listening to you and they're like, yeah, you're a human and this person triggers this thing in you.
Mhm.
Even if you say they're doing X, Y, and Z, all they're really thinking about is, well, why is that impactful for you and how
Yes.
do we, right?
That's fair.
In their
That's fair.
their best version, yes, but they're still human.
yeah.
They're still human, and they're not robots. Like, yes, you do develop a relationship with them, and then I don't think they can fully see you as just like a project. They still see you as a person.
Yeah, I wonder.
I tried to go to my best friend's therapist. She said it was okay, and so I reached out to her therapist, and the therapist said no. She was like, that would be a conflict of interest.
Oh, so you're a hot topic.
Probably.
Wow.
I mean,
Oh,
come on, we
shit.
go way back. Of course, I'm gonna come
You're
up here
hot
and
topic.
like,
Dying. Wait, Dax, I'm obsessed with this studio and I'm looking at this picture and I cannot figure out what it is. What is that, a bacon, egg, and cheese pork roll with?
Taylor Swift.
I was gonna say, is that Taylor Swift or your wife?
Take
Your
your
wife doesn't
pick.
have. Wow, what
There is one
inspired Taylor Swift on top of a pork roll, egg and cheese?
This artist does celebrities on a sandwich that they're related. So they did one of me on a Coney dog because Detroit's known for Coney
You
dogs.
probably have
You got to
one.
get a Philly steak and cheese sandwich. You want a Philly?
Me on it.
You're closest to Philadelphia, right?
Philly cheesesteak?
Newton was closest.
It's called Newtown,
Oh,
not Newton. First of all, do your fucking research. No, but it's me on a cheesesteak.
well, really
Oh.
quick though. Is Newtown a suburb of Philadelphia?
Yes,
Okay, so you would do a cheesesteak.
absolutely.
Unless Newtown's known for some other culinary delight,
You
which I
know-
doubt very fucking much, even though it's called Newtown.
Listen, Newtown was a great place to be raised. It's not known for much.
I can't imagine.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not. Every time someone's like, "Oh, you're from Pennsylvania," I'm like, "I know, don't ask," because there's not much
Yeah.
to give.
anywhere USA.
It was a great place to be raised, but like that's kind
That's
of
where
where
it ends.
Yeah, there's nothing interesting. There's
That's
no
all right.
fun little tidbits. Like it doesn't make for good podcast content, honestly.
We'll find it.
So to therapy,
Yeah.
It's almost more interesting that you like to watch a show about therapy and you're in therapy, given that your mother's a therapist.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, that was my hurdle with AA. Like AA was what my dad did and all of his friends.
Oh,
and it was
interesting.
virtually Catholicism because it's what he did. And so I'd be like, God, I got to join this club my fucking dad was in. So
That's interesting. I got really lucky with my parents is that I leaned into both of the things that they did. I took a piece from both of them
yeah.
and I didn't run from it. And maybe it's because my mom loved it so much, but not in an annoying way. Like we would beg her to tell us about some of the things that she was doing to her clients. And she's like, I can't tell you about that. And then sometimes as my mother, she would slip up and like tell me some details.
See,
Yeah.
humans.
I know.
See,
Yeah.
I know. But in a way that like I didn't know who these people were and shit,
Yes,
whatever.
fine.
And I thought it was so fascinating because of just like these interpersonal dynamics that you can always relate to in some capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
So I just really loved it. And I think I saw how transformative it was also for my friends around me in my life when my mom would do like quick little sessions with them in the living room. That was like the go-to. I would come home from school or soccer and she'd be doing a session with my best friend. I'm like, Mom, this is my time to go outside and make videos
Yeah.
and play with my friends. And then my friend would be like, I just need 30 more minutes. I'd be like,
my
do you
time's
guys like
not
my
up
mom
yet.
more than me? But no, it always had a very positive connotation
Yeah.
in my household.
Well, what I would have been interested in is like, oh, my mom gets to hear gossip. Like my mom gets to hear really juicy stuff that I would love to be hearing.
Yes.
I think that would be my interest.
I think for my mom, she works with children specifically.
Oh,
she
she
works
does.
with kids.
Okay.
So it was actually more relatable, but less juicy and like these two are getting
No one's having an
divorced. Let's
affair.
talk about
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a
Right.
fair drama, which would have been so hot
That's so
tea.
tasty.
Oh,
So
so
fun.
tasty. And I also think having a podcast, I'm constantly trying to push myself to be able to expand the conversation.
Mhm.
And that starts with yourself of like continuing to educate yourself, continuing to learn. And I think in watching these things, it helps me a little bit. Like I was taking tips from Orna as
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
watching her interact with her patients. I'm like, shit, I got to do that when I'm interviewing someone.
Yeah.
So it's also like a learning fun thing because I want to be better at my craft.
So they're in the doc a lot and they're lovely. Your mom is hot and in charge and outspoken and confident and believes in you. It's all beautiful. And then your dad is very much a dad in the best way possible.
Such a dad. Such a dad.
What's
and
that mean?
he's like, he just loves the shit out of Alex and
that's
he
cute.
will stand by her and people have yelled things at him, you know,
Yeah.
and he is quiet and steady and
He's so cute.
yeah. A good pair for the mom. The mom is seemingly, from what I saw in the doc, like she's in charge.
Yes.
Yeah, she's running
My
the
mom
show.
runs it
Nice. I
all.
love
Dressed to the
that.
nines, great style.
She was so nervous. She's like, do you think you could like blur my neck a little bit in the documentary? I'm like, Mom, when
Just
you're ready for a
clean it
facelift,
up.
I will be paying for it. You just let me know. She's like, well, wait, you think I need a facelift? I'm like, no. She was so nervous. She was like, my mom is truly one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life, but she cannot public speak for shit. She bombed at my wedding. It was the best part of my wedding. And to this day, she's like, stop fucking saying that.
Wait, what version of bombed?
Oh, you guys.
Did she go up on her speech or did she couldn't read her speech or she didn't write it?
She wrote it.
Okay.
She wrote one of the most beautiful speeches you will ever, actually never hear because I still haven't heard it to this day, but I've read it. She goes up and everyone thinks that my parents are doing a skit. They can't get the papers together.
Oh my
They can't get the
God.
papers. And at first I'm like, okay. And then it continues where we're like 3 minutes in and like 3 full minutes where my mom can't get it together and my dad can't get it together because my mom can't get it together.
Oh,
He's
no.
feeling her anxiety and he's like, I'll do it for you. And she's like, no, I
Everything's
can
out
do
of
it.
orbit.
It was so, you guys, for 7 straight minutes, I turned to Matt and I said, go up there, take the fucking microphone and make them sit down. And Matt was like,
Stop.
no, they're going to get it together. So then my dad can't see because he somehow forgot his glasses. I'm like,
Sure.
what the fuck? It's my wedding.
my
He can't
God.
read. And he starts just ad-libbing.
Hold on, though. I'm presuming, given the little dynamic I saw, he probably thought mom's going to handle
Mom's
this.
going to handle
Yeah,
it.
so he's
of
ill
course.
prepared because he's like, this is her thing.
Lori was going up to put on a show. She just
Yeah.
fucking forgot that she can't speak publicly.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So then my dad tries to remember the speech.
Oh, no.
God.
When I was born, I went immediately into the ICU. Okay? This is the way that my dad starts the speech. When Alex was born, she came out of a cloud of blue. Oh,
Okay.
Dad,
Oh,
what does that mean?
Yeah.
He's trying to read. So they bombed the whole thing, and I never heard their speech to this day. Matt then called them. It was our year anniversary, and he called my parents. We were having dinner, and he goes, "You guys, it was this exact time a year ago where you ruined our wedding." And my mom was like, "Matthew, shut the fuck up." My mom was she's like, "Matt, why would you remind me of that horrible moment?" But to this day, she always says, "You know what? The worst parts of weddings are always the things that you only talk about."
That's right.
We just talked about this with my kids' play. You'll never remember it if
true.
it's good.
Right.
Yeah.
You're begging and praying that it's a disaster.
It's a gift.
They
It's
were
a
the
gift.
stars. But no, she's the best woman I've ever met, and I love her more than anything.
Oh, I should have started here because we have a familiarity that I think people will sense right away.
Oh my God.
Right?
How did we tell this story?
Well, let's start with we were all at Spotify.
Oh, I thought
so
you
the
were-
very
okay.
first time we ever met was at a dinner.
That's true. Very briefly.
Very
Yes.
briefly.
Outside in the dark.
I want to start there because here's my thought is like, in some sense, we're competitors,
Yes.
right? I think just recently I had noticed, and I think I said to Monica, like, what's this show, Call Her Daddy, that's above us, that's like blasting us at Spotify?
To be fair, you kept saying "call you daddy."
Call You Daddy?
Yeah, he couldn't get it
Okay.
right.
I couldn't get it right.
He has dyslexia.
It's okay. Now
I'm
you
sure
know.
you're as familiar with the competing podcast as I was. Like, I just focus
Fair.
on our podcast.
Totally.
But at any rate, I want to make sure that I'm like extra nice if I meet you. Like, I want you to know I'm rooting for you, basically, even though we're vaguely competitors.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts like that going into that dinner? Is that crossing your mind? Like, oh, we'll be with
No, I did feel that a
chair
little.
side expert or whatever you called
the
it.
chair guy. The guy that sits in a chair. Yes, I remember that dinner because I knew everyone from Sweden was flying in for Spotify, and a bunch of the execs were going to be there.
Mhm.
And I think that was something that was a little different than other companies where like a lot of the main people at Spotify you rarely got to interact with, or
Yeah.
you were on Zoom, which was great. And they were all lovely, but I knew they were all flying in, and I didn't know you were going to be there that night. And then I remember seeing you because you're so tall.
Mhm.
And when we had our interaction, I remember being like, oh, he was so nice and
Oh, good,
lovely.
good.
Yes. But I think there was this like mystified sense of the top podcasters, and we're all, because there was only so much money that we could all get. And it's like, it's all an exorbitant amount. Like
Yeah.
there's
Yes.
room for all of us at the top.
Yeah.
But yes, I remember being like, what is he going to be like?
Yeah.
And then I had a great experience with you, but it was so brief.
Yes.
And then we really became
Connected.
friends.
Yes. So then I read about your serious deal, and I was quite loudly excited for you on the show.
Thank you.
And then we got invited to someone's house. Someone invited top podcasters to their house. And
Yes.
we got to the airport, and you were there. I didn't know, and I doubt you knew who the guests were going to be.
We kept joking, like, are we in an episode of Black Mirror or
Mhm.
is this a White Lotus? Yes, this very wealthy, famous person invited a bunch of podcasters and people in media.
When I was pitched it, I had a similar thought. I was like, oh, this is very sci-fi, and someone's going to get killed.
Truly.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be me.
And
So
I
I'm going to have a great story. I know I'll live. I was very
I'm glad you
bullish.
thought that way.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have thought I was going to die, except the fact that Matt got to come. I was like, okay, I feel good.
Yeah, yeah.
When we arrived at the airport, yes, I only knew that you and Kristen were going. I knew no one else.
Right.
And so that immediately, I think, gave us a little bit of just comfort
Yeah, yeah.
because as adults, it's weird to be like, we're all getting on a plane. We're all going to this place. We're all going to stay in these houses together. Like, a little summer campy, strange.
Have either of you wondered that like maybe you're going to be on some sort of like this, like an Epstein
Yes,
adjacent?
I thought, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know?
No.
But thankfully, nothing
I'm not
weird
worried.
happened. You're not worried. Okay, well,
Yeah.
if you're not worried, I'm not worried. But yes, then we immediately kind of like all came together because we knew each other a tiny bit.
That's right. And again, I can't put too fine a point on. Like, I just truly root for you, and I'm so excited that you're crushing. What are you laughing at?
I just spilled water all over my face.
Oh, man, it is
I'm
all
rooting-
over your
Yeah,
face.
it is.
No, but now it's gone. You're fine.
I'm rooting
Okay,
for you
cool.
too
Are
to
you?
You got it.
dry during these trying times. But yes, we have this long plane ride, and it was such a blast,
So
and
fun.
we got along incredibly well, I think, by my estimation.
We did.
And then we had this incredible 3 days, which included off-roading. Just what a gift! I didn't see that coming.
It was so incredible.
Yeah.
One of the coolest trips truly of my life. Like I look back and I'm so grateful that we all went
Uh-huh.
and the group was great and the conversations were great. The activities were incredible. And I'm so happy specifically. I felt like I really left there and Matt and I left being like, wow, we love Dax and Kristen. Like
Yes.
it was such a successful trip for us.
Yeah. So then the plane ride home was just.
We didn't shut up. Everyone
Didn't
else
shut
was
up.
asleep and we were in the back of the plane.
Yeah.
We couldn't stop gabbing. And then from there, we've now gone to dinners and
Yeah, we've
hung
had a
out
double
and-
date.
Double date.
It was very fun, and I played poker with Matt.
And your wife now texts me videos of birds.
Yes.
Kristen Bell texts me, you guys. It's, it's fine, but I'm fucking cool.
One of the things that surprised me right away is I asked you, I think on the initial plane ride there,
Mhm.
do you have a hard time not becoming friends with all the people you interview? Because I'm finding that we meet so many fucking people. We had our 900th episode this week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So in that group of 900 people, you bet your ass like 30 of them I want to be friends with. And I am having a hard time figuring out
It's tough.
what to pursue and not to pursue. And you go, oh, no. I won't even give my number. And I was like, oh my God, this is fascinating. Why not?
I think I made a really conscious decision like very, very early days because one, I think we're a little different in that I wasn't famous before podcasting. Like
Uh-huh.
I am known for podcasting. So I was
Right.
a nobody when I came into this industry. And the minute I started interviewing celebrities, I became very acutely aware that in order to do my job correctly, I needed to create essentially this bubble around myself where people started to really know me as this interviewer
Yeah.
that isn't just hanging with celebrities. Like
Yeah.
you are a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a little different.
Yeah.
And I felt like in order to really garner respect from these
Uh-huh.
people, like I wanted people to just be like, she's not fame hungry. She's not
She's
going
not a
and rubbing.
social climber.
Yeah. Because yes, like I remember so many people that I idolized growing up asking for my number. And then I was like,
How do you say no?
I was
Yeah.
like, yes, my assistant can get you like, and she'll connect us. And then they never connect us because everyone now is like, oh, Alex. But it wasn't personal. There were
Mhm.
so many moments I wanted to, but I knew one, I really wanted to stay as normal as I humanly possibly could.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen so many people come into this industry and get so wrapped up. And I knew I also couldn't do my job if I was so close with these people. So I still feel moments where people come into my studio and they're really nervous.
Uh-huh.
And then I obviously break them down to not be nervous, but I don't know if I could do that if I was at every Hollywood party. And
Yeah.
thankfully, Matt is such like not that type of person where
Yeah.
he's been in Hollywood for so long, but he doesn't partake. So we kind of have this great simpatico with each other where we stay on the fringe, we dip in when we need to, but like we're not going to go to an Oscar party unless we're up for an Oscar. You know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
we're not putting ourselves in those positions. And I think it's made my life really easy now with my job. I have clear boundaries.
And do you think that being friends with the people would stand in the way of you asking a question that you would otherwise want to ask?
It depends on the guest. I think if you're going really heavy on some of these, like I got to get in there and I don't want to say I'm being a dick, but sometimes it's a little uncomfortable, but I'm
Uh-huh.
going to ask.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to feel comfortable to be like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. And then I'm
Right.
like, fuck, because my audience expects me to.
Yeah.
So I think it's allowed me to have a level of distance
Yeah.
so that I can ask questions like, we're not friends. I'm an interviewer sitting here right now.
Right.
And like,
Professional.
Yeah.
Keep it professional. And now, to be fair, like there are moments where I see people at an event and it's beautiful to reconnect with someone because they shared so much like you guys do. Like you speak about really intimate topics here.
Yeah.
It is weird to not become friends with them because you're talking about the most intimate parts of their life.
Yeah.
And when you're in this bubble of a room, it doesn't feel like there are cameras. It feels like we're actually hanging out
Exactly.
in a
I've gotten
living room.
closer to people in 2 hours that I've never met.
Right?
Dove Cameron, I didn't know who she was. We're crying within 40 minutes, both of us.
There you go.
She leaves and I'm like, well, that's about as connected as I've gotten to,
Yes. So it's hard. But again, I think the beauty of conversation is that sometimes it's best left right where you put it out. And I don't need to continue that relationship with that person unless they, of course, reach out and they're like, I really want to have another conversation. But most of the time, we leave it.
Okay, so when we were getting to know each other, and particularly on the plane ride home,
Yep.
and I was learning about your background, you're saying you were bullied and you're an ugly duckling.
Yeah.
We're giving you the benefit of the doubt, but it's very hard.
I know it is.
It's really hard.
And I did that by design, which is so sad to say. Like, I worked so hard for no one to know that was my past life. Like, trying to get rid of every photo on the internet, trying to not let people see that part of me, trying to erase a part of me that who made me who I am.
Yes.
And if you told me that when I was younger, that you wouldn't have known, I would have been like, job complete. I did it.
I know that the pain of it and the self-image of it is what it is, whether it's real or not. So I would, even if I thought, well, I don't know, she couldn't have had this experience, I do believe that that's how it felt. But then then I watched the documentary. And again, you're not unattractive. You're a very cute little girl.
Thank you.
But you have red fucking hair.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Oh,
and like
so
acne
cute.
and I didn't.
But we all had that. Like, is it real?
You should watch it. Here's exactly what you'll be able to say. I think, this is my opinion, is like, yes, any adult would look at that child and go, that's a beautiful little girl.
Yeah.
And also, I know what kids are like in third grade. And you have your hair is super red.
Yeah.
What I love the most, you have braces seemingly your entire childhood, just like I did. And you never really got the handle of them. You never got the hang of your braces.
Like my mouth is so big and and it was that and then the bumps all over and the freckles and the acne. But you know what's so sad too, Dax, even when you're saying that is I agree when I look back at pictures of myself, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. When I was home, I thought I was totally fine.
Yeah.
I was okay with how I looked. And then when you get to 6th grade and boys and everything starts to change, I became aware of how I was being perceived as ugly just because it was constantly being told to me every single waking moment of the day when I was in school.
Yeah.
Everyone called me like the ginger with no soul. I was every like Skeletor because I couldn't gain weight. So I looked like I had like an eating disorder. And then it got physical where I will never forget. It was at recess and we had indoor recess and all of the boys started kind of circling around me and I didn't really understand what was happening. And they were all whispering and they got in a circle and they started screaming, put the fire out, put the fire out, put the fire out. And they took one of their winter coats and they put it over my head and they took the back and they slammed me onto the ground. And I woke up, I assume a couple minutes later, a minute later, completely concussed, obviously, blacked out, didn't know what happened. But of course, I wake up and I see all these boys laughing at me like, we did it, we did it.
Yeah.
And all of the girls are so consumed by the boys. So it's like they don't want to stand up for me.
Yeah.
And I remember just trying to play it off like I'm okay, but I completely blacked out. And this is in 6th grade. And I then scurry kind of out of the room and I go up to the hall monitor and I just ask if I can go to the nurse. And I told her what happened and she let me lay down. And then she was like, you're fine. And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I go back to class. And then I remember experiencing concussion symptoms and telling no one and I went home that night, threw up, didn't know what was going on with me. And I was like, I just got the shit beaten out of me. The back of my skull is in so much pain.
Yeah.
And it was just because of the color of my hair and the way I looked that it was like physical retaliation. And so that as a kid, I then started to go into my bathroom at night and be like staring at myself like, how can I fucking change this? Like, what can I change about
For
myself
survival.
to survive? Because it was every fucking day. It just was so sad because and that's what I talk about in the documentary, not as in detailed because there was only so much time, but a lot of my young formative years then I became so good at hiding myself.
Yeah.
And just, I could spot when someone was going to physically either bully me or come at me verbally. And so I would change the conversation, or I would pull myself back and talk about one of my friends about how cute and funny they were so that the boys would be like, oh yeah. So everything was to try to mitigate the damage of someone trying to come at me.
Yeah.
And I had this down to a fucking science. I would wear X amount of socks per day because I had to wear these skirts and my legs were so small.
Were you boarding at this school? Because some people
that's
boarded.
high school.
Oh, that's high school.
school.
Okay.
So middle school was this Catholic school.
Yeah.
Grew up very Catholic, church every Sunday.
I can imagine myself being in that situation and not telling my family. Were you sharing this?
My parents had no idea.
They had no idea. And why do you think you weren't telling them?
One, because of the embarrassment.
Yeah.
And then two, I think because at home, I really was so different. Like my parents allowed me to express myself. My parents thought my hair was the most beautiful thing and they always would compliment me. And I started to resent it because I'm like, little do you know, it's like literally the pain of my life. I want to shave my head. Like I hate myself so much. I think the middle school days of my life were the hardest, where I really started to disconnect from telling my parents a lot. And that made it really isolating.
Yeah.
And I then went back, and it always makes me cry. I then found journals of myself when my parents where they were moving out of their house, and I was finding journals years ago while they were packing stuff. And it was just the darkest thoughts of like, not that I had suicidal genuine thoughts. It was more, I wrote basically like, if I did take my own life, would then these boys know?
Learn a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever ask if you could dye your hair?
Yeah.
So it was the summer going into high school, and I had the most anxiety. I was like, I cannot go to this new school. And so partly why I chose a school that really no one from my middle school was going to was I wanted to start over, and it had the best soccer program on the East Coast. So I ended up asking my mom that summer, can I please dye my hair? And just like highlights. And it was so minimal, but it made such a difference for me.
Oh, she didn't put up a fight.
My mom was so supportive, and the hairdresser, which those moments where she was like, don't touch this gorgeous red hair. And I was like, bitch, I'm about to fucking kill myself. Dye this shit. I can't take another minute. The sad thing I look back on though is like, I then just kept going, and it got blonder and blonder and blonder. And I look back at pictures of myself specifically in college, and I just lost myself. I really tried to become this girl that I always envied in middle school, the blonde girl and the tan and the all of it. Like, I'm a redhead with pale skin and I have freckles and
the sensitivity to anesthetic.
Yes. Like I tried to change everything about myself, and I took it way too far. Like the hair was platinum, the extensions, all of it. And I never wanted anyone to know who I really was. And so that was really fucking depressing.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
When you were in it, and you like when you were in college and you looked in the mirror and you were, my color skin and platinum blonde hair, were you like, I fucking did it? Like, were you proud of yourself in that moment? Like, I did the thing I needed to do for myself. Like, and also, were boys now into you?
Yes. I think in moments it was split. It was like, oh my God, I did it. This is so fucking dumb how different I'm being treated. because of the
right?
way I look. On the other hand, I felt like a poser. Like I felt like,
You betrayed
Imposter.
yourself a
yeah,
little bit.
I'm like, I have paint on my body and dye in my hair. This isn't who I am.
Well, and if you dated people, I imagine you're waiting for them to find out who you really are and for it to be
Yes.
over. And living with the fear that they're going to discover
Yeah.
who you really are.
They're like, she's this hot platinum blonde. And meanwhile, I was like, you guys.
Why are your roots? No, your roots are red.
I was standing and a boyfriend literally looked at the top of my head and he was like, wait, why are your roots? And I hadn't got them done. And I was like, oh yeah, the hairstylist messed it up. Like I just would
Wow.
fully
Sure.
make up
You have
these
to.
crazy stories.
Yeah.
And then it became bigger than me. And I remember when I started to get publicly known for my job, I was so terrified that kids from middle school would release photos, and they did.
Sure.
And I remember that day, and it's a picture that like was just so god awful. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was mortified.
Yeah.
But then it kind of forced me to be like,
Yeah.
all right,
Everyone
Yeah.
the
knows.
gig's up. And I think I look back now and I can at least acknowledge although I wish I could take the pain away from, I should have never had to go through the certain things I did. I remember getting headbutt by this kid at recess, and I again passed out. Like just like really aggressive things that these boys were doing. I had to find ways to love myself, and it took a really fucking long time, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Well, you must wonder. So,
Yeah.
simultaneous to this all happening, you're starting to get very prolific in your basement, making videos and green screen and learning to edit. And you're obviously living the life you want to be living in your
Yeah.
basement.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if you were like celebrated and embraced and at every party and making out with a dude on the back of his motorcycle. Would we be in the basement doing all that?
Because of how horrible my personal social life was, the filming videos and creating was the one really safe space where I didn't care, because the only people that were seeing my videos were my best friends and my parents. So I was fine with my hair and I was fine with my skin, and I would do close-ups of my face even though I was breaking out, or my braces or whatever it be.
You have control.
Control.
exactly.
Yeah.
Controls the like.
And I loved it. Like I really felt so happy there, and I hated going to school so much. So whenever I got home, I just ran down to the basement, turned on the camera, started filming. But then even to the point where I remember at a point in my career now, I released as like one of my Instagram stories, I posted something of my best friend Lauren and I, but I put it in black and white a few years ago because I didn't
you
want people
still
to know.
That
I still-
recently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's such deep wounds.
They really
and
are.
it's like, it gets laughable, especially when you're my age. You're like, wow,
I
we're still
know.
dealing with something that lasted for 18 months in
I know, because it's
1986.
like it actually becomes like physically learned behaviors that you just, like I said, I got so used to doing this, and it almost was like I couldn't stop. I just got better and better and better at it,
Yeah.
that it would be weird to stop hiding myself. Like I got so good
It
at
was
it.
your identity,
Even when I started
really.
Call Her Daddy, I was like, this is the bitch I wish I could have been my whole life. And it was like I was getting to do and be this person
Mhm.
that when I was younger, I wasn't at all.
Yeah.
So really interesting. It was
How
like a
did
big
it-
dichotomy.
Impact your relationship with boys and men? Like, were you always chasing approval?
Yes, but almost in a weirder, sadistic way.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you want to punish them?
kind of.
Yeah.
I think because I have never had a hard time making female friends. That was like the thing that filled me up the most. I always felt so comfortable around women, being on soccer teams, filming with my best friends. Like I love it. Like I love female friendships. And because the boys were the aggressors that were coming towards me, I always was physically scared of them, mentally scared of them. They never wanted to touch me. I remember my first kiss, everyone made jokes about like, oh, she's not even good at kissing or whatever. And I was like, I don't even like it just everything I did sexually or physically was scrutinized. So I really felt like I couldn't be myself and explore my sexuality because I hated myself. And then when I finally got to a point where I changed my hair and changed my skin and all of the things, when boys were drooling over me. And I was just like, oh, I fucking hate you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Because I've been the same person. I'm the same exact person. I just look different. Same personality, same everything.
Yeah.
And then I think when I got to college, it really turned because it became this like fun game to me where I was like, who can I get next? And that's when I started dating professional athletes because I was like, these are men that get everything handed to them and I'm going to be the one memorable thing that they can't get and they have to work for. And it was all just about me. It was like once I got it, then I was like, oh my God, I did it. Like, fuck you. I played the game. I'm better than, and then it was like, oh, and then I just kept
And then
going.
you're
Also,
done
it's-
with them. And
Also,
then,
it's the proverbial jock. Like it's not. It's so.
It's so classic.
transparent. Yeah, it's classic. Who are the cool people in high school now that I'm in college? Well, I guess they're professional athletes.
It's also hard, I feel like, when being in a public situation where talking about it, I also am not looking for any sympathy. It's more, I really felt like it was time to share because it is very polar opposite to the persona that I have shown the entire time of my career, this confident woman who's explaining how to get the guy and do all of this. And I thought it was important to show people I haven't always been that way.
Oh, I think so.
And like that part of me, I'm so grateful for now. I can actually genuinely say I'm so fucking happy that I actually wasn't one of those people that had it all in middle school and was the cute girl in middle school because it really informed a lot of my personality. And I love who I am today.
Yeah, I would
know?
argue you're obligated to. In the same way that Chris and I have always felt obligated to go like, oh, no, we're a couples therapy. It's hard. We didn't do well. We hate each other. We're, it's not the thing in the commercial. Like you have some obligation, I think, to share that side of it. But let's talk about soccer for a second because also you had said on the airplane that you were a good soccer player. And I'm only left to guess what that means. Yeah. Alex is a fucking bonkers soccer player. Really? There's some shots in it. The announcer's even calling now, oh my God, that was a Beckham-esque shot. She fucking kicks from, I don't know, 60 feet back. It goes way up over everyone, just tucks in under thing. I'm like, oh, that bitch can fucking kick a soccer ball. You were great.
Oh my God, thank you.
And that I'm assuming, in addition to the basement and the videos, this is another place where you can kind of, it's a meritocracy. It's not arbitrary. There's real rules. And if you do X, Y, and Z, you will be acknowledged as such.
And team sports, you have a community, built-in community, people who need you and you need them. Yeah. It's so important.
Soccer was the love of my life. Like from a very young age, my parents tried to have me do every sport. And I was like, fine, I'll try everything, but I'll do it. And if I don't want to do it, I can go back to soccer, right? And they're like, yes, but we just think you should try. I tried every single sport, played once, got out. I did swim, great, out, okay, back to soccer. I was just obsessed with it. And finally, my parents were like, fine, just do soccer. And I leaned in, and I give so much credit to my parents. I traveled all around the world. I represented the United States in Russia. We went to Sochi. I played on a club sport and I did also my school soccer and I just loved it so much. And again, it was all women. Yeah. I felt so good. I didn't care about my body if I was out there and I just had the best time. Yeah. And I was so competitive. Like I get that from my dad. He played D1 hockey at Wisconsin. Oh, wow. Yeah, my dad worked for the NHL.
He was a Philadelphia Flyers producer.
And so I grew up around these athletes and that was my dad's job. So athletics just in my household was the norm. I never saw my dad at a 9-to-5 normal job. We were going to stadiums and watching the players and he's producing the game. And it was a really cool upbringing. But soccer was my thing. And it's so crazy because I remember it was my freshman year of high school. I was touring colleges. And that's how fast you start.
As a freshman.
Yeah. So I'm trying to, at 13 years old, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to college. And I will never forget, I toured Boston University and my mom is from Boston, Lowell, Massachusetts. And she told me all about Boston and how it was the best time of her life and she loved living there. And so I really didn't know at that young of an age in freshman year of high school where I wanted to go. I toured Michigan and Miami and all these places. And Boston was it for me because they had a great film program and the soccer I was very excited about. I also knew there were better soccer schools, but this one I was like, I'll get a full ride. And I also want to be able to have also a little bit of a life.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have been more excited. And I had dealt with asshole male coaches my whole life. And a huge draw was that the coach was a woman.
Oh, wow.
And I was so excited. I had never been coached by a woman. And back to the whole men were assholes to me my whole life. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have it made in college.
Yeah.
I finally look good. My coach is a woman. I've got all my girls at college. Like I'm going to reinvent myself again.
What are the first things and how long are you denying the signals before you start realizing there's something weird going on with this coach? Like what were the soft starts of this? What
the
turns
female coach.
the female this turns out to be it's a heartbreaking story. It makes me
it's
really upset.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's very confusing when it is this slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
Because for context, like having a full tuition scholarship, this woman owns you and you have to do everything she says. And so my freshman year, when she was speaking to all the freshmen, you want her attention because you want to be the freshman that's the standout freshman.
Yeah.
And in the beginning of freshman year, everything felt fine. If anything, I was vying for her attention. I'm trying my hardest. I'm playing my hardest. I'm staying after if we need to pick up the water bottles and anything. Like I'm going the extra mile. And then I would say towards the end of our fall freshman semester, I started to feel her just coming over to me at practice more and just asking how I was doing. And I really genuinely thought that that was her kind of deeming me like, I'm going to invest in you. Like I really see you
this is very positive.
And this is all you can ask for.
That's what you want.
She's the holder of your playing time and all of it. So I would say freshman year, it was what I thought was normal. And then I would say freshman spring semester is a lot of just like training sessions. And I do remember her just really wanting to, let's really get ready for next season. Come have a meeting with me. And that's really when the one-on-one sessions started a lot. She was just starting to really fixate on me.
Yeah.
And I, again, was just like, this is great. Like to anyone that didn't play sports, like in especially college, I had 6 girls in my grade. So as much as we're all best friends, you're competing. And so you didn't really share too much information at that time with your teammates because everyone's competing in a way.
Yeah.
So sometimes I wouldn't tell my teammates that she asked for a one-on-one.
What are the nature of the one-on-one?
You also don't want to make them jealous. Or they're just going to hate you if you're the coach's pet.
The first beginnings of one-on-ones were a mix of lightly talking about my soccer abilities and then just asking me about myself. Personal. And again, I just thought like, she's trying to get to know me and she wants me to feel comfortable here. And then sophomore year, everything changed. My freshman summer going into sophomore year, a lot of girls stayed in Boston to train. And because August comes and you've got to be in the best shape of your life. And she would come around during training sessions in summer and it felt different since school was out of session. It felt more like we weren't in school. Like it felt like anything could happen.
Yeah.
Camp vibes.
Yeah, like everyone's acting a little less professional. And she would come around more and I definitely noticed her like continuously like, hey, Coop, come talk to me over here. And I'm like, but it's summer. Like I don't have to. Like, why do I have to keep fucking talking to you? All the girls are going to the guys' frat party. Like I want to go and I'm having to stay back. And sophomore year started and that's really when I started to interact with more guys. I started to like date guys and she was getting wind of me starting to date men. And I will never forget, I got dropped off. Sorry, I'm like shaking. It's like, I haven't like said this story.
Well, let's acknowledge this because you and I talked about this, right? I have had the experience where I get to share my thing, but I get to
Yeah.
edit it
Yeah.
and I get to be in control of it.
Yeah.
And then ultimately it goes out into the wilderness.
Yeah, it's
And so this
scary.
is a big part of the doc.
Yeah.
And it's going out into the wilderness
Yes.
and it's scary. Yeah.
So sophomore year, I'm getting dropped off by this guy that I was seeing, and my assistant coach saw me, which like you're allowed to. Like all these girls are sleeping off campus. Some of these girls live with their boyfriends, and I get called in for a one-on-one. And I'm like, what could this be? And at this point, the one-on-ones are starting to get so often. And now they've gone from, we don't talk about soccer anymore. She's
Right.
just talking to me about my personal self. And I'm definitely starting to get more uncomfortable, just like uncomfortable by like, this is excessive. And now my teammates are starting to recognize and
Yeah.
starting to be like, what do you guys talk about?
Yeah.
And still though, there was a jealousy element of
Of
that
course.
people being like, why do you get so many one-on-ones? Because people would ask for one-on-ones and she'd be like, we can talk in a week and a half.
Yeah.
And I'm in there almost every other fucking day.
Yeah.
And so I go in, and this was the one moment that I just vividly remember feeling so out of body. I walk in having no concept of what we're going to talk about. And she says, I heard that you got dropped off by a guy this morning. And I'm like,
Oof.
yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
And she goes, I don't know if you should be sleeping off campus, Alex. And I'm like,
Yeah, what are you supposed to say?
I know, and
Exactly. The only answer is that's none of your fucking
Right,
business.
but
And you can't say
again-
that.
but again, it's like my only relation to this woman was her telling me what to do and then me doing
Yes,
it. So
exactly.
even that, I'm a little like, oh, like, and I in my body knew
Yeah.
this was the first line where I'm like, wait, and then I said, Coach, all the other girls sleep off campus with their boyfriends, like,
Yeah.
and then she looked at me and said, did you have sex last night?
What?
Now, really quick, is there any like here would maybe be if I try to imagine this experience, it'd be like for a while it'd be like, am I imagining something's crazy?
Yeah.
Some part of me at that question would go like, right, I'm not nuts. This is
Yeah.
I now know what this is. Or had you already
You're
knew what
in
it was?
Like I don't know if you were able to step
I think
outside
what was
of it.
so frustrating, and I think that's why it's so hard to talk about it, is because I was so beholden to this woman, and anything she told me to do, I had to do. And
Yeah.
again, this was the thing I worked my entire life to get
Oh,
to.
yeah, yeah.
So I think I kind of just kicked into fight or flight survival mode where in 30 minutes I have to go on the field
And
and
she's
this
in
woman
charge
is
of
going
my
to tell
She
me
has
destiny.
what
all
to
the
do.
power.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's in front of all of my best friends and my peers and my teammates who I respect and
Yeah.
I want them to respect me. So I'm really trying to downplay it in my head.
Yes.
And I'm trying to compartmentalize, like, I am a more outgoing person. And I'm trying to justify anything that I can to suppress it and
normal.
make it okay and normal.
Yeah, de-escalate it.
Yes.
And I couldn't tell you what I said. I blacked out so hard in that moment.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times I tried to divert the conversation. So I'd be like, oh, wait, did we know if Holy Cross is their striker still like, and I would just start talking about
Right.
soccer.
Yeah,
non
And she
sequitur.
would meet me back with
Yeah.
Alex.
Mm.
Oh, man.
And these meetings were, you're alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just horrible. And
Yeah.
I literally felt like I was in this cage and I didn't know what to do other than sit and be quiet and listen to her. And
Get
so
through it.
I started to try to get a little bit more as I got older, like just a little bit more, not stern, but like, I'm not going to engage in this. And then she stopped playing me.
I'll add, she would do the film playback as you do in all
Oh,
sports.
yeah.
And she would pause moments to talk about someone's move. And then she would do these long sessions where all she would talk about is how Alex looks. and how graceful she is, and all like just break her down physically.
That film session, I think, was the moment my teammates, all who started to really notice it, but of course couldn't speak up because they also are on scholarship and they're trying to fight for their playing time. The film session, I think, was the first really obvious moment to my teammates. Like, this is inappropriate.
And she's now, what's interesting is she's losing control.
Because she's doing it publicly.
Yes. Like, that's a fascinating part. She's on some crazy arc, right?
She couldn't help herself.
She was satiated with just sitting with you for a while, but then she needed to up that. And then it was this. And now she's losing control of this whole thing herself.
And it was all on her time. Give her more attention, indulge her, more playing time.
She told you not to live with your roommate.
Yep.
She kicked your roommate off the team.
Like, it was all isolation tactics. But that session, I barely played. And when you're in film sessions, you're going over the biggest plays of the game or the pain points or where did it break down. And she put me in for like 3 fucking minutes at the end of a half. And I didn't score, like nothing happened.
Ran around.
No reason to be talking about
no reason
you.
to be talking about me. And she pauses it multiple times. Everybody look at Alex. Look at her hair. You can't not notice her on the field. Look how blonde her hair is. Look at her skin. Would always talk about how I would wear my shorts. Like the detail. And that was the first time I tried so hard in these moments to be strong in front of my teammates because I wanted to be a leader. And I remember getting back into my locker room. And that was one of the moments because it was just a really hell of a week with her.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I just had tears streaming down my face sitting in my locker. And all of my teammates, individually or collectively in groups throughout the rest 30 minutes, because then we had to go out to practice, were like, Cooper, what the hell? Like, what is going on? I'm so sorry. That was so inappropriate. My captains came up to me. Yeah. And so that was the first big moment. But then it continued. We're outside. We're playing a game where you have to kick the soccer ball like far and then you trap it. And she goes, wait, before we start this training session though, there's one rule. Whoever gets Alex on their team, you have to go below her neck because we wouldn't want to mess up her money makers. Those teeth are her money makers. And everyone in practice would just be like,
oh my God.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm standing there humiliated, disgusted, isolated. So this went on and on and on and on and on. And I think I started to just give up on soccer.
There's one moment that's really so fucking wild to watch, which is she's punishing you. She won't play you. She puts you in at one point. You score the goal. And there's a press conference afterwards. And you and presumably the other player who had scored are there and the coach is there. And she's furious because you are having sex with a boy. And that's why she was punishing you. And you score this goal. And she will not say Alex's name. She'll say like, we got lucky with one of the scorers picked up, like won't say your, and then her body language is so, she's not a coach of a soccer team. She is someone embroiled in this insane fantasy about you.
You can see my face. Like when I get handed the microphone, I am trying to downplay it because when I would get attention and it wasn't how she decided, she would become very enraged and it was all on her time because it was a really, really strange case of sexual harassment where it was attraction and resentment.
I think that's common.
And, yes. And the resentment aspect was so heavily dictating my ability to play soccer.
Yeah.
And so it was this push and pull where I never knew when I was going to be on the field or off the field.
Doing the thing you had committed your life to, which is that's the part that's just so unacceptable. You have been working at this for 10 years.
Yeah.
And you're at the place that you were working to get.
Yep.
And now it's this horrendous experience that you can't escape.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
I think one of the most twisted things that, and I lightly talk about it in the documentary, was it was my junior year, and that's when I was probably at the peak of my game. Like, I was really doing well. Now I knew what was going on. Like, I was calling home. I called home since my freshman year, and my mom would just take notes.
She was writing it all down.
She was writing it all down because being someone in the field of therapy, you're like my mom would just chronicle, I'm in it. But she was able to read back from freshman year now. And she's like, Alex, this is getting out of hand.
Yeah,
like,
she could see the escalation.
Because of the dynamic I'm explaining with my teammates, I really only confided in one of my teammates. And her name happens to also be Alex. And Alex was aware of what was going on. And no one else really knew like the deep details, but everyone knew. Every single person, if you walked up to them and said, what is Alex and Coach's relationship? They would say, something is so off. Like something is off. Coach treats Alex different than every other player on this team. That is a fact. And we finish after our season, and I had the best season ever. It was after that goal and all of it. And everyone's like, you're getting captain. And my mom's like, just be prepared. Just be prepared. And I will never forget, I'm sitting in my dorm room and my roommate and best friend Alex goes for her one-on-one to finish the year. And Alex was a good player. She wasn't the best player. She wasn't the worst. She was incredible at fitness. She always won fitness tests. And she goes in and my coach just says, you're done. You're off the team. And Alex is like, I've never had a warning. I've never had any, like, what do you mean I'm off the team? And she said, you're done. And you can keep your scholarship though. Which means something is wrong. Because if she did something wrong, you can take away her scholarship and get her off the team. You're going to pay this girl to be on the campus and not play. She has X amount of scholarships
to give out.
What do you mean? Like, this girl gets to walk on campus with a scholarship and she's not going to have to play soccer. Like, so you're acknowledging
that something's
off
here. Yeah.
And she calls me. They handed her a garbage bag and she calls me from the locker room sobbing. And I remember I drop to the floor and I have a panic attack because I realize, one, oh my God, my poor friend, how is this girl who has also worked her whole life fucking collateral in this horrible situation? Like the guilt I felt.
Yeah, you have caused this somehow. Yeah.
And to anyone that's not like understanding, this was a complete isolation tactic.
Yes.
She knew I had no one that knew no one knew the detail except for Alex.
Yeah.
And she just pulled the one person away that knew everything.
Yeah.
And so I go in for my one-on-one and she puts me on probation. I have like a 3.5 GPA at this point. I have done nothing but excel in soccer. And mind you, there are girls on my team who have been sent to the hospital to get their stomach pumped from drinking. And they got a slap on the wrist, nothing wrong. And I'm getting probation. And she says, do you see what I did to your friend Alex?
Oh my. This is like a horror movie at this point.
She says, you're going to live with who I want you to live with. You're going to do exactly what I say. And if you don't hit all of those things I just handed you, then we're going to have a hard problem here, Alex. And I'm like, wait, coach, like me and mom, like, I thought I was coming in here to get captain.
Yeah.
How is this happening? And when you look at the probation letter, what makes me sick is there was nothing tangible that I could hit. It was all to her discretion. And one of them was, and it makes me so emotional, one of them was that reason I was on probation is I missed one of my night classes, which like so many kids missed more classes than anything. And the reason I missed that night class was because the week before was when she started to insist that she drive me alone to my night class. And I just like, I couldn't do it. Like I was like, I know,
protecting
I just was like, I don't want to get in the car with that woman again. So I made up an excuse that I was like sick and I didn't go. And I just, to see it on that probation, if you showed anyone that, they'd be like, well, you missed a class. And I'm like, but why did I miss specifically my night class? And I just remember feeling so sick to my stomach of like, this entire thing is just meant now to control me even more, to have more one-on-ones with me, to get me alone, to isolate me. And I was I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like
Yeah.
I physically, this
It
is
broke you.
because I knew it's going to get so much worse. Like this is going to be a
Yeah.
living hell.
Yeah.
And so I call my parents and my mom is like, we got to come up. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah,
got to
yeah,
come
yeah,
up to
yeah,
Boston. Like
yeah.
this
It's
is
time.
It's time. It's
Yeah,
time.
Yeah.
So my parents come up and we request a meeting with the dean of athletics. And we go in for this meeting and my mom brings the entire notebook from start to finish of
Thank God
all
for
of the
her.
harassment that I had endured.
It's a beast of a folder.
It's insane.
Wow.
It's insane. This woman takes notes. Okay.
Yeah,
We say, you know, my daughter has been being sexually harassed by Nancy Feldman since her freshman year here on this campus. And it has now gotten so bad to the point where she just is threatening basically our daughter's scholarship if she doesn't abide by more of her rules.
Mhm.
And this has gotten so out of hand. We need your help.
Mhm.
And in that moment, I was so sad that it had come to this point.
Yeah,
like,
this is like
I don't want to be doing this. Like, I
no.
never wanted to meet the dean of athletics. I don't want to be in this position,
Yeah.
but I knew in order for me to continue playing, like I couldn't play for this woman anymore and she couldn't be my coach. She couldn't control herself anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my mom is like, I've written down every single thing. Here you go. And he won't open the book.
No.
He will not open the book. He doesn't ask any questions. He sits in silence. And then he just looks at me and says, what do you want?
Isn't that
Wait,
that should be obvious to you what I want?
Right. And
Yeah.
I said, I want to keep playing soccer. I want to play my senior year with my teammates and what I've worked my entire life for. I want to play, but I can't keep being sexually harassed by this woman. Like
Yeah.
I need to be protected. I need you
Yeah.
guys to help me.
Yeah.
And they say, well, we are not getting rid of Nancy Feldman. She is a decorated coach here. She had been the only coach who had come through that organization at the time for women's soccer. She had plaques all over the university. She was celebrated. She was decorated. And they said, we will not be getting rid of her. So you can keep playing or you don't need to play and you can keep your scholarship.
Oh my God.
And after a pretty short meeting, I said, I guess then I can't play soccer anymore. And you all win. And I'm going to leave and I'll keep my scholarship. And that's that. And I left with my parents that day and I got in the car and I had a breakdown and I was crying. And I remember feeling so angry. And I found out through a teammate that the next day Nancy went into hey everyone, just want to let you know, Alex Cooper is no longer on the team. Not sure why she quit, but she quit and she left you guys. So that's up to her. And said something along the lines of like hoping no one else would, quit because like what a fucking sore loser.
Oh boy.
But they all knew.
They knew, but again, it's like back to work. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Also, to what degree did they know?
Yeah.
Do they know she's driving her to her night classes?
Well,
do they
no,
know
no,
she's-
no.
You know,
there's so many terrible fallouts from all of this, but one of the hardest fallouts was how many friends I lost because I didn't blame them and I know they didn't blame me, but it became really hard to maintain these friendships when they're trying to continue to play for this woman.
and they're feeling some guilt about that, I'm
Yes.
sure.
And they can't stand up because
look
they
what
have
happened.
to turn a blind
Mhm.
eye.
Yeah. And the notion that you were made to quit.
yes.
Exactly.
When like you're defining yourself by someone who doesn't quit, does the extra thing, and now you've been put in a position where you have to quit.
And I think the feeling also I really tried to repackage myself and pretend like I was okay.
Yeah.
Like I really didn't want them to think I was hurting. So I just was social and I was trying to just pretend nothing. But internally I was broken and I was devastated. And I reconnected with one of my teammates. We met in Santa Monica and she just broke down crying and she was just like, I think we all knew, but we were so scared.
Yeah.
And we all had to protect ourselves. Like
Yeah.
so many of these girls are on scholarships. This is their livelihood.
Yeah.
So everyone's out for themselves. But it was validating a little bit as time has gone on to hear that from my teammates.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of knew. I didn't know the extent. And I know this is going to come out and I'm going to get reached out to again because I still didn't even share the full extent.
Listen, how well do 40-year-olds in a workplace deal with this kind of thing? And these are like all 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like something that I carried for a really, really long time. I had met with a lawyer before I went in with the dean of athletics.
Right.
He said, you have a full sexual harassment case, but do you want to be the girl on campus suing? And he said, I know you said you wanted to go into the entertainment business. This is something that's going to follow you for a very long time. These people will drag this out. This is not your senior year and done. This is years of a potential lawsuit. And it may affect you getting a job.
Mm-hmm.
It may affect a lot of parts of your life. And I wanted to sue.
Mm-hmm.
I did because I think, again, there was the part where I was like, I need something. Like, I need justice. I also need my teammates
how else
to
are you
see.
going to stop it as
Yes.
well?
Yes.
Like a lawsuit probably ends in a more dramatic response
Exactly.
from the school.
I don't know the right answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as time has gone on, it has weighed on me. Would I have done something differently? And I don't think I would have because I'm so fortunate that now I have a platform where I'm now about to speak about this. But the thing that really gets me is I am so aware of my privilege. I am a white privileged woman who has a platform. I have money. I have resources. I have power. And I'm still scared to tell this story.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I think about this all the time. Like I talk about having been molested quite openly. I've never said the person's name. And I always think like, yeah, I battled this thing. Like, has my unwillingness to do that resulted in this person having more victims? Did they grow out of that? What,
Yep.
I definitely wrestle with that.
It is hard. And that's why I guess like a lot of this, what's been bringing up for me. And now it's exactly almost a decade later that this happened. And I am like, if I'm scared to talk about this, can you imagine a woman who doesn't have my privilege? How the fuck is anyone feeling comfortable to talk about this?
Oh,
because
yeah.
to clarify again, I was no one when this happened to me. I had nothing. Like I had supportive parents, but I didn't have a platform. I didn't have money. Like I came forward and I got denied. I was failed. I went to the athletic director, told him about this, and he basically told me to fuck off. He wouldn't even read it. So who am I to say come forward?
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Yeah,
And the fact that athletic director is still there to this day.
Is she still there?
So she retired. And I'll say this, which I didn't say in the documentary, which is why I decided to come forward with this is this documentary was actually really meant for me to just show the behind the scenes of my tour.
Yeah.
And how I got to where I am because the tour monologue in the beginning that I do is about my rise. You know, the director was like, I want to bring your childhood in and show the rise of you. And when I opened in Boston, which was very symbolic, my tour, the director, I had lightly told her about my soccer experience.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew that I wasn't sure if I wanted to share it with her. And so she said, can you do me a favor? Can we just go back to the field and let's see what it brings up for you? We never have to use the footage. You never have to tell the story, but let's just go. And I was reluctant because I was just like, I don't know if I want to do all this. And I don't know. And I'm also very aware, like, I don't want this to come off as like a victimhood story from someone that's like privileged. Like I was like,
Yeah.
And so we go back and it's the first time that I saw Nickerson Field is what it's called. And I remember getting there and stepping foot on that field and I felt so small.
Mm-hmm.
I felt
Powerless.
like I was right back in it.
Yeah.
And I have done years of therapy.
And you're on top of the world. You are you currently are, and then you're immediately transported back to that old person.
I was like, oh my God, this still is so painful and
of
lives
course.
in me. And
Yeah.
I just started crying.
Yeah.
And that was the first, because there's two, that was the first moment where I was like, I think I got to talk about this because conversation has been the power in my life since starting Call Her Daddy. And it's how I've healed a lot of things. I've healed things with other people. And this is the one thing I'm like, I'm a fraud. How can I not talk about this? Like,
Yeah.
I got to go there.
There's nothing relatable
Yeah.
about you
No.
signing a deal at Sirius.
No.
There's nothing relatable about you with this fucking gorgeous stud Matt as a husband. Like none of that soothes anyone.
Yeah.
Or it's just
That's
that's
this
exactly
is the real
why
shit.
this is what the point is.
So
Yeah.
many people sadly have versions
Yeah.
of this story
Yeah.
and are not their own boss.
Yep.
And have a platform and can't. So I think on behalf of all those people, it's so beautiful that you're
And
you're
it's
talking
not
about it and
even
doing it.
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's not because you're gonna encourage someone to stand up
No.
in some way. It's
Yeah.
to say, oh, she's done it. She talked about it. She's still alive. And in fact, she's still thriving.
Yes.
And you go, fuck, maybe I could unburden myself a little bit.
Yeah, you
and
brought
people
people
still like
some
me.
hope, I think.
That was the true catalyst of holy shit. I talk to people every week about their trauma and things they've gone through. And I've been so open on my podcast. But this thing, I think it took me, I was so nervous to talk about it because one, I think for retaliation, when you come out and I'm naming her name
Yeah.
and I don't know what she's going to do, you
Right,
know?
right.
But I'm ready for that now. And it took me 10 years.
Yeah. And a war chest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
And so I think retaliation was one thing where I'm like, I don't know what Boss University and she are going to do, but I'm ready. I think the other part was I was very anxious to tell this because it's so emotional and personal to me that I don't want it to be up for like public fodder.
But you're going to find out that those opinions aren't coming your way.
Also, if it does, it will
Yeah.
be matched with so many people
Yeah.
giving you so much gratitude.
I
Yeah.
don't even think it's going to happen.
Well, the internet's gross, so
I know.
potentially.
But that even like, I know what happened and I'm so proud of myself for telling this story. I could have made it a docuseries.
Sure.
There's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much more to this.
Yeah.
But I really think it is such a huge part of why I am the way I am and why I have the conversations I do on my podcast. And I think people are like a little dumbfounded of like how I steered it a certain way after all the sex and relationships. I'm like, to my core, I have a story within me that I've never been able to share. And if anything, I give back to all of my guests who have shared with me because I genuinely believe they have been what has allowed me now to be in the chair being like, okay, I'm going to finally tell this.
Yeah.
But the other side of it was, and this I didn't share in the documentary because I was like, this is a other part of it. But in the middle of filming the documentary, more information came to light. And I got involved with the NWSL. And I'm so excited. It was like a reclaiming moment for
Is that
myself.
the
women's,
World Soccer?
the National Women's Soccer League.
Yeah.
And that was almost like this beautiful moment where I got to re-engage and go back to soccer and how
Yes.
cool that it's like with my hydration drink and I'm the Hydration League sponsor. And
Yeah.
it was such a
Yeah.
full circle moment for me to be like, wow,
Yeah.
I can come back to the thing I love and I can have a
It wasn't
positive.
permanently
Yes.
stolen from me.
And it was very emotional, even just going to these games. I feel
Yeah.
I'm meeting some of the legends of the sport, Abby Wambach and Brittany Chastain. But the first game of their opening season I went to and I reconnected with a former teammate who plays professionally. And I gave her a heads up about the documentary. And I was just like, I just wanted you to know. I know you were a senior when I was a freshman, so you didn't really around when it got bad, but this is what's happening. And she was like, Cooper, I'm so fucking sorry. You know, it's still happening, right? And I just remember like the whole field went dark and I just felt again so small
Mm-hmm.
because you try to convince yourself like it's just you. Like
Yeah.
it maybe it was you rationalize like
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
it was
yeah.
just me. Maybe it was just me.
Yeah.
They're not going to keep doing it. And when I was at BU, Nancy Feldman was the head coach. And there was an assistant coach at the time who was my assistant coach. And she watched the harassment. they would be in chairs like this. Most of the time it was one-on-ones, but there were a few times where my assistant coach was in the room. And I vividly remember a meeting that was getting uncomfortable. And I turned to her and I said her name and I said, help, like, please help me. And she physically turned her head away.
Mm-hmm.
She went on to become the head coach at BU. And she just did the same thing, if not worse, to another woman on that campus.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you look up online, it says she resigned
Mm-hmm.
and she is now able to go and coach at any university. And I spoke to the player. And it was a really hard conversation to hear that this is systemic.
Yeah.
She watched Nancy.
Yep.
Yes.
She watched her have no,
Consequence.
Ramifications.
Nothing.
Yeah.
and she got to leave there as her pictures are on the walls. She's retired. She's living life. She's a legacy. So why the fuck would the assistant coach not follow right in her footsteps and do the same goddamn thing?
Yeah.
There's not a public statement of all the people came forward and this is what happened and this is what this coach did. Nothing. She resigned. And that was the moment in the middle of filming the documentary where I called the director and I said, I'm ready.
Oh, wow.
I'm ready to sit down and tell the story because
Yeah.
it's no
It's just
longer
gonna
about me.
keep
It's going
going
to keep
on.
going.
Yeah, yeah.
My heart just breaks because speaking to victims, like, again, I'm so aware of my privilege. And as uncomfortable as it is for me to tell this story, because it's so not who I am public facing, like, I wish I could have been like, of course no one could do that to me because I'm Alex fucking Cooper and I'm going to tell you to go fuck your, like, no, it happened to me.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah. Systems can be more powerful than people.
And I think a lot about, like, I remember saying to my mom the other day, you know, before this comes out, I just feel like everything I do on Call Her Daddy, I want to always end it on a high note or a purpose or a call to action. And I was like, Mom, like, I don't know what to tell people. I don't have the answer because to every victim listening or watching, I know the fear of speaking up
Mm-hmm.
and not being believed or being denied and then losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I also know the fear of now not speaking up and losing yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a
So
lose-lose.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you
Yeah.
don't situation.
Yeah.
Like, I sat with that athletic director and explained this abuse of power.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically looked at me and said,
Yeah. Tough shit.
tough shit.
Yeah.
And for it to continue to happen, now I knew that's when I'm like, all right, let's fucking go. Because this is not just happening on college campuses for NCAA. It's everywhere. It is in the workplace. It is in relationships.
Yes.
Mhm.
And when people are so confused, why didn't she do this or why didn't she do that? When there is an abuse of power,
Mm-hmm.
it is like a ton on top of that victim. And it is like you have to climb Mount fucking Everest and more to even feel like you have a sliver of a fucking hope to be believed and actually be protected if you come forward. Because my story is I came forward and I was failed. So why the
Yeah.
fuck would anyone come forward?
Right.
It's an impossible situation for people.
It's horrible.
I hate when I hate that. Like, well, why didn't they just quit? Because they've spent their whole life trying to get to that point. They're almost there, and there's nowhere else. You're picking your life
Right.
or theirs.
Why did
basically.
you stay in a work environment where your boss was sexually harassing me? You were sexually, but because it's my livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Duh.
Because they're paying my
They're
bills.
not handing out jobs at 7-Eleven.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
good for you.
Yeah.
it's a lot.
I am very grateful that you made that decision because that was an incredibly compelling and heartbreaking part of the story that is the reality, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I'm sure I can't imagine what your parents felt like the level I would want to kill somebody over that kind of stuff. And
Ugh.
yeah, it's
It's a lot. And I think it's also this, it definitely had a lot of effects on me after college. Like, I had such a difficult relationship to my body and working out. Like, I could not step on a treadmill because I just had this visual of we would always be in lines on treadmills, and she would just stand at my fucking treadmill and watch me run. And I was like, I couldn't, and I loved running. Like I was fast. I loved it. And so to this day, I don't get on the treadmill because I can't. And there's those little things. And then on top of that, it's like, I think when I went out into the workplace before all of Call Her Daddy and had jobs, I found myself, which is not my personality, but I found myself trying really hard to just blend in because it wasn't even conscious. I was just making sure that I wasn't standing out so that
you did not want to be someone's
Yeah.
pet again.
And it was hurting me.
It's the girl with the red hair who had to blend in. And then you escaped that, right? Like you escaped that and then you had to blend in for the opposite reason.
Yeah.
It's like it keeps coming back.
It's so true. It's like never feeling completely good in my skin. Like I think that's been a theme in my life. And again, now I can say it now because it's not as much what Call Her Daddy is, but at the beginning days, like I did start to resent the character that I was building on Call Her Daddy.
Yeah.
When it was just about sex and relationships and I had a co-host, it was very like I was of course, a lot of it was true, but I was enjoying playing this fantasy character in my head, and it was doing something to my ego and my confidence that was building me up because I loved that I could engage with my sexuality and own it in a way that I really suppressed in college around her.
Yeah.
I felt disgusting.
Yeah.
I felt horrible I just was like creeped out, and it just was awful. And so Call Her Daddy was really this beautiful moment where I poured everything into no one is going to silence me again. There was also this drive of like, fuck you.
Exactly.
I'm going to get so fucking big and you are going to shit your pants every day that I'm going to tell the fucking story.
Yeah.
And I'm going to one day, and I knew I was going to. It definitely took longer than I thought I was going to take, but that's also like, that's life.
Yeah.
And everyone's got to go on their own time frame.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm still uncomfortable about it, but I
Yeah.
think I'm happy it's out there because I now know I really feel like this will become something in my life that I take on.
Well, the dream is you
Yeah.
stop judging yourself
I know.
for all the things.
Yeah.
Pre,
That's the
during,
dream, Dax.
and post. Yeah. It's like you free yourself of that judgment. Well, I do want to say this, the doc also follows your tour. And I was thinking, this seems so natural for anyone on the outside. If they're a fan of yours and they listen to your show and you're very extroverted on the show and you're confident on the show, they would just assume like, well, of course you can go on stage and do a stage show. But I was thinking watching this is an enormous fucking swing for you. I was a groundling first. I was on a stage every Sunday doing comedy. And when we walk out, we have a whole routine, right? And it's like, I have to dial into the music and just be joyful about the music and then forget what's going to happen next. And like I've had a lot of stage experience.
Yes.
Yeah. So I totally admire that you're like, yes,
That was
we're
the
going to
first
do
time I'd
this
ever
and
been
we're
on
going to
stage.
do it
Wow.
in a humongous theater and we're going to do it with a bunch of production. But yeah, were you, terrified?
Dax, I was so nervous because in the school play, we had Wizard of Oz and they made me a munchkin and I was in the back and you couldn't even see me. And I was like, I'm not meant to be on a stage. And then when this idea came, of course, I then am such a crazy person and want to do everything tenfold. So I was like, it can't be a podcast tour. It needs to be theater and, Broadway meets Vegas and dancers and Magic Mike. And I was like, and then when I got there at opening night, I was like, fuck me. What did I sign myself up for? I have no idea what I'm doing. But it was something that I like to push myself. I'm sure you're at this point in your career where it's like, just go for things.
Yeah.
And I was really proud of myself. But no, I definitely know my fans probably thought it was easy for me. I really struggled when I would get off that stage with, Matt was always joking. He was like, I hope you don't get addicted to this. Because you know how people love the
Sure.
the
They
screens.
get the bug.
After night one, I turned to him, I said, don't worry, I'm not addicted. I never want to do this again. Only because it was the most magical thing to do it with my fans, but the pressure I was putting on myself and the way I was
it's just
performing.
looming over you, right? Just the notion that like
I would lay in bed all day, eat chicken fingers, and fucking meditate and call my therapist 5 times and be like, I'm going to be okay, right? And then I'd go out there. And when I was out there, I actually was enjoying it.
Yeah.
But the minute I got off, I was like, I feel like the biggest introvert. Take me home and never let me do that again. It was truly one of the greatest experiences of my career. And I don't regret it for a second, but it was the most challenging thing I've ever done. A last point I'll give is I have to give so much credit to my husband. I couldn't do the things I'm doing without his support. He is my biggest fan. He is there for me in every moment. And he makes it so much more enjoyable than if I was doing it alone. Like, shout out, Matt. We love you.
Yeah, you guys have a very, very good working relationship. I can relate. Like some people go like, how do you work with? And I'm like, oh no, those are the easiest.
That's the easiest. People think I'm insane when I say that, but I'm like, you just trust
It's very
that
lucky though.
person.
I think for most people, they couldn't work together.
Oh no, you'd be like, I'm going to kill you. Like every morning, Matt and I are brushing our teeth. We're like, oh man, how fun we get to like go to the office together. And everyone's like, you're both ill. I'm like, well, we like it. We have fun.
Have you seen her husband?
I don't think so.
Dax is in love with him.
I guess I have at the dinner, but I don't
outrageously
remember.
gorgeous.
That's the first thing you said to Matt when you met him.
Yes. The second I saw him at the airport, I immediately was like, oh my God, you're so fucking gorgeous. And then I'm saying to you, like, good job. This guy's fucking gorgeous. And I think later I found out from him that he's like, he thought I was making fun of him. I'm like, no. I sincerely, but here's what's crazy, Monica. It was deeper than just that. Because now as I've become friendly with them on this trip, I start researching you both in my hotel room. And guess what I discovered?
I know what you're going to say.
You already know.
I think so.
What?
You have both dated the same person?
Yes, you share an ex-lover that I am obsessed with.
And it's deeper than that.
What?
I then went, oh, yes. I've totally seen him before because the first time I ever saw her in real life, she was with him dating. Look at this fucking guy. This guy has got it made. He's fucking gorgeous. Someone was like, yeah, he plays college football. I'm like, oh my God, this guy's a college football player. That's his girlfriend and he looks like that. Like I became more obsessed with him that day than her. And then
25
I'm in
years
my
later,
bed putting all this together like, oh yes, I've always been obsessed with this guy.
I am obsessed. No, your guys' love affair is adorable.
She's in this room.
I know, I see her behind you. Yeah. No, it's really cute. It's really cute. But yeah.
And then I'm like, how do I now tell him tomorrow at breakfast, hey, I discovered this. I was researching you.
And I'm obsessed with you, Matt. No, Matt's such an interesting guy. Like he's so kind of shy and reserved at first. And then once you get to know him, he gets more open. But I remember at first he was literally like, oh my God, I don't know what to say to that. I'm like, Matt, he thinks you're hot. Take the compliment. He's like, okay.
It's confusing for a lot of men to hear it.
Yeah.
And women.
I get it too. I was like, well, you're assuming he feels as confident as he is visually, which no one is.
Yep.
And if someone came up to me like, God, you're so fucking gorgeous. Oh, yeah, okay, dude.
Yes.
What is this about?
Or you think they're trying to assert some sort of power dynamic or something. I would feel like that.
I was just trying to bow to the beauty. I mean,
Bow
he
to the
deserves
beauty.
it. He deserves it.
That is amazing.
What a hunk. Well, I love the doc. I think it's so good. I don't think you should be nervous at all. I think everyone's going to really love it.
Thank you, guys.
You debut at Tribeca.
Tribeca Film Festival on June 8th, and then it comes out June 10th.
On Hulu.
On Hulu.
Which is now your second project you'll have at Hulu. You also have a dating show.
Yes, we have a dating show that we're actually about to start filming in Malta. And I just picked the cast. It's been so fun to cast a dating show because I'm such a dating whore. And I'm like, oh my God, I love these shows. Yeah. So to get to watch tapes and interview people and see who they are, I think we've got a really, like, I know multiple of these people. I'm like, your life is going to change. You're going to be so famous.
Right.
So it's very exciting. I'm not hosting it. We have a fun host that I can't announce, but it will be fun. And it's going to be on a boat in Malta. Like, I'm like, this is hot.
Great.
Yeah, it's called...
It's a working title right now, but basically it's like Overboard for Love, but they're all on a yacht and it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot. So yeah, Hulu.
I'm a sucker for those shows.
They're fun.
They're fun.
Well, listen, I think we'll both say we're super flattered to be peers of yours.
Look how full circle. Like when we met at Spotify, we were like, and now we're like hugging and we're friends.
Yes,
It's really cute.
I'm rooting.
I'm rooting for you
I'm so
too.
happy for you.
Thank you.
All
guys.
right, well,
Thank
I adore
you for having me.
Yes, this
Love
is
you
so
guys.
fun.
Thank you. Oh man, I cried.
I sure hope there weren't any mistakes in that episode, but we'll find out when my mom, Mrs. Monica, comes in and tells us what was wrong. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. My son's visiting,
Yes, he is.
and we have one of our big nights planned for tonight.
What are you going to do?
We're going to go with Eric and Nate
Fun.
to Morton's.
Oh, and you're going to have
smoke
diarrhea.
cigarettes.
You're not going to smoke cigarettes.
Going to talk on the phone at the table like a hard line, smoke cigarettes, drink, I guess, martinis is what you drink.
That's right.
And then maybe some Hannes
Yeah.
on the way
A
out.
little Hannes.
But this night, the sky's the limit because Kristen and Lincoln are out of town.
Mm-hmm.
They're in New York.
Yeah.
And so it's me, Delta, and Aaron. We've dubbed it Boys Time. She, in fact, insisted that he call her a boy
Oh,
yesterday.
okay,
yeah,
great,
This is guys' time.
Guys' time. Okay, great.
They're all out there. This is bros time. A lot of
Okay.
bros time going on. So I asked Carly, can Delta come over tonight so that I can go out to eat with the boys? Can she come hang at your house? And she's like, of course. And then Delta was immediately like, see if is it okay if I have a sleepover?
Fun.
So now they're having a sleepover, which everyone's excited about.
So you're
it's
home alone.
Guilt-free for me to have the night entirely off. So I don't know where this night will take Aaron and I, because I do have light fantasies of us tackling all the hiking trails on the electric motorcycles
At night?
at night because it's
Dax,
illegal.
can you just
It sounds like such an
just
adventure.
do the right thing? Just watch TV.
No, what about an enchanted motorcycle ride under the
Why
moonlight
can't you just do it
in the
God,
deserted
exactly.
trails?
It's like you have this beautiful house, you have a theater room, you have all this stuff, and it's not enough.
Oh, it's enough.
Now you're back to nature.
There you go. It's not. I think it's in the right direction. It's back what we would do when we were broke.
You could have just then done it and not had any of this stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't have an electric motorcycle. It'd have to be a noisy endeavor
Okay.
in the past. But now we can do it quite peacefully. No one will be disturbed. And we could have a real adventure that few people have had. I'm just putting it out there. I don't even know that my son will be up for it. My son gets nappy, you know.
Yeah, he's a tired boy.
He gets tired and he's on a different time zone.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Sorry if I'm grumpy.
Oh.
I have a big grievance. I don't know if
Ooh.
I'm like, I feel kind of bad airing it, but I also don't feel bad because this is really, really bad.
Oh, wow.
Like a month or two ago,
Yeah.
I booked a trip for Hawaii for July.
What, by yourself?
Ish. So like I booked it and the plan was that Anna was going to come and that maybe some other people would come and we turned into a thing.
Yeah.
But I also knew I didn't really know my July schedule fully and that I might have to cancel it.
Yeah. What island did you pick?
It was more about the hotel.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Oahu?
it was a Rosewood Hotel. I've never been.
Okay.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I've heard great things. So, I pull it up, I book it, and now it seems that I will probably not be able to make that work. Well, definitely. So I went to cancel it. I called.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, you didn't book through us." And I was like, "Yes, I did. I went to the website and I booked it."
Yeah.
And I know it was. I'm like looking at pictures. What?
Yeah.
And he was like, "No, you booked through this. That's a travel agency." And I was like, "Okay, well, regardless, can you cancel it?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Well, you booked a non-cancelable room or reservation." And I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
First of all, the fact that this isn't even booked through you is majorly confusing to me.
Yes.
Secondly, I knew that I might have 50-50 chance have to cancel. So I know this was not clear.
Yes.
And so then I get a hold of this agent, this agency.
I'm going to add to confirm your frustration. I often go to look at a hotel and the first thing comes up and it says it's the name of the hotel. And then I go to it and then I'll just happen to notice the web address. And I'm like, wait, wouldn't it say blank.com? There's a lot of places that masquerade as the actual hotel. Yes.
Exactly. Okay, so that's now what I'm thinking happened. Like I got like kind of scammed because I then reached out to this travel agency, which I guess is, I mean, it was booked, so it's not like a scam in that they just like took my money, but still. So I reached out and I said, hi, I need to cancel this reservation. They're saying it's non-cancelable. There's no way that was clear mixed with I feel certain I booked on the website. So I don't know if this was parading as the website. And they said, yes, you booked through us and it is non-cancelable, but we'll try to advocate on your behalf with the hotel. And then they came back and said, like, they can't do it. And I was like,
oh my God.
Oh my God. It's
thousands.
Too much money.
Yes.
For me not to
and
be
also, like. 2 months is plenty of time to cancel.
Yes. I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, I understand a 24-hour cancel. I maybe even understand like 3 days.
I know.
A month, fuck you.
A month.
Yeah, that's a fuck you.
Change in advance mixed with the fact that like this is shady. This whole thing is shady. Yeah. This is a nice hotel. Like, do the right thing. I don't know. It really bothers me because they're like, I can't. And I'm like, well, you can. You just press cancel and you give me my money back.
Yes.
It's not an I can't situation.
There's no lock on this computer.
Yeah. And I'm really freaking out because
it's
too much. It's like a lot of money.
Yeah.
I can't go because we have work.
Yeah. No, that's insane. And no one should be getting that amount of money for doing nothing.
Exactly. I'm like, so they're stealing my money. They're just about to steal way too much money from me.
You shouldn't even be able to sell a non-cancelable.
Exactly. What is that?
I mean, I hate the fucking airlines for this same reason. They'll give you like a credit and it's impossible to use the credit. We all know it's impossible.
Yeah.
How about this? You fucking refund shit when people can't use it.
Or, okay, again, you're right. I get if it's like you can't cancel within 3 days, 5 days even
2 weeks you would accept in this case.
In this case, I would accept that. A month and change?
No.
So honestly, this is a cautionary tale. And I mean, I'm maybe not going to say it yet, but I might say it in the next fact check. I haven't. The company. Because really, like, everyone needs to be on the lookout for this because and I'm not a dum-dum.
If they offer one that's not cancelable, there should literally be a pop-up screen that says, are you sure you want to book a non-cancelable flight? Like now, they make it clear when you buy an airline ticket. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You can do flexible rate. It's more, and then I'll go, like, if you get that charge of like, God, am I really going to commit to this? I'm not going to change it. And I am a cheapskate.
Yeah.
So I generally don't ever get the flex option.
Yeah, or
so
the
I'm
insurance.
just going to stick to this fucking plan no matter what.
Yeah.
But no, hotel, I'm operating under the broad assumption that, yes, of course you can cancel a hotel room.
Yeah.
And how about this? If they don't refund your money, they should have to send you a picture every day of that room being vacant. They should not be allowed to then sell it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll keep it. Send me a picture of my room every day. Because if you put someone in there, then we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, that is frustrating.
I'm so frustrated and I don't really know what to do. And I'm feeling like a level of anxiety around it that is hovering and because it feels very unjust.
Yes.
And this should not matter at all. This shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I do feel compelled to say that I stay at a Rosewood hotel in New York a lot, also not a cheap hotel. So they have a lot
record.
Of my money. Like,
they know you're
do
valuable.
the right thing.
Yeah. They know you're a valuable customer.
Yes.
And they will lose you, right? You wouldn't book
Well,
again.
that's the thing, because I need to book a trip to New York. And I am like, I might not stay with this group. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's upsetting.
It is upsetting. That would upset me greatly. Yeah, that's very frustrating.
Yeah. Thanks for understanding.
I wonder if you'll feel better, though, if we take electric motorbikes up the trail tonight, like renegade boys, bad boys.
Oh, no, you're going to bring Frito?
No, I've been watching a lot of Steve Brule again lately.
Oh.
And for people who didn't watch Steve Brule, For Your Health, spinoff of Tim and Eric, it's so good.
So funny.
Yeah, he goes to the prison, and he says, "Those are all." He's talking to the warden. All these bad boys, you ever spank them? He's like, "Well, we don't spank. You ever spank their bottom cherry red?"
Oh, gosh.
He's obsessed with bad boys and hunks.
Yeah, of
Steve Brule.
course. Of
So
course he
cute.
is. John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. Put your hands together. That might be the deepest character I've ever seen in a comedy is John C. Reilly as Steve Brule.
It's very funny.
And he mispronounces every word. He's talking to one doctor. He's like, doctor on sex. What is sex? And the doctor starts telling him, he goes, okay, well, what about the apprentice? When do we put the apprentice? He calls him penis apprentice. And he calls gambling grambling. He mispronounces like every fifth word. It's so funny.
Very funny.
Hmm.
Okay, speaking of shows,
Yeah.
I came across a very sexy show
Okay.
recommended to me by a friend. I won't out her.
Oh. That's a
unless she
feather in her
gives me-
cap, whoever recommended
I agree.
it.
I agree. But yeah, she asked me if I'd seen the show and I should give it a try.
Yeah.
It's called Tell Me Lies. I think
Yeah.
people might
What?
know it.
Now-
It's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu.
Yes. And it is so sexual.
Like, what are we talking about? There's a lot of scenes of fucking or a lot of flirting scenes or the whole
A
package?
lot of scenes. Well, both. But
A lot of nudity?
yeah, there's a lot of
Oh.
nudity. Like there are scenes where I'm like shocked we aren't seeing the vagina
Yeah.
or the actual penis. Like we're seeing so much body that the
Sure.
fact that they're able to make it exactly covered right there is
It's
a
a science.
feat.
It's a
yeah.
science.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
a science. Anyway, it was very sexy and
And it worked for you.
it was working.
Because sexy stuff on TV always runs the risk
Yeah.
of being very cheesy.
I don't know if the show's good,
Sure. That's okay. That's not what you're there for.
but that's not why I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there for the sexiness.
Like, you don't care how the steak is at Long John Silver's. You want to know what the fish is like.
Do you? I don't
No,
know.
hush puppies.
Sure. Yeah, I
What's the age group of the people that are fucking?
Oh yeah, so it's set in college. That's another thing. It's set in college and it made me miss college so much.
And did it make you think like, I want to go back to college and this time I'm going to be a slut?
Kind of.
Yeah, that would be
yeah.
the fantasy, I
I
think.
know. But it's not me.
Yeah. I know, like, I wonder if I would even have the same nostalgia for that kind of thing. Cause like I did do whatever I wanted.
No, because that's not what's actually causing the nostalgia, like the sex. It's the like,
Freedom.
no, the excitement, like the first episode is their first day and they're moving in and it's just like, God, the life ahead, the excitement of being on your own, but with your friends and you're protected, but you're dangerous
Yeah.
and you're going to bars and you're going, oh.
Yeah, you loved college.
I just loved it.
Stay tuned for more Armchair Expert, if you dare.
We are supported by Domino's. I have the app.
Me too.
It's not talked about in this ad spot, but I do got to give a shout out to the lava cakes. They're outrageous.
I want it right now.
At long last, Domino's finally has stuffed crust pizza and not just stuffed crust, Parmesan stuffed crust.
Oh man, what are you waiting for?
Who doesn't love a little Parmesan? Nobody. That's who. It's hard to believe it's taken them this long to make a stuffed crust pizza, but let me tell you, this was worth the wait. They've taken their buttery flavored handmade pan pizza dough and stuffed it with melty cheese. And if that wasn't enough, they topped it with garlic seasoning And yes, real Parmesan.
I can taste it.
I love mine smothered with pepperoni.
Ooh.
Oh, the more the better. Okay, all this talk about Domino's has got me hungry, and I think I've got tonight's dinner plans all figured out. Order Domino's new Parmesan stuffed crust pizza on the Domino's app and use code DAX to get any 3-topping Parmesan stuffed crust pizza for $11.99. That's code DAX on the Domino's app to try it today. Prices higher in some locations. You must ask for this limited time offer. Prices, participation, delivery area, and charges may vary. Delivery orders subject to local stores' delivery charge. Yeah, for me, it's different because by the time I got there, I was already older.
Right.
And then also my mother gave me so much freedom. So I was already like traveling around the country, doing road trips. And, I had so much freedom that like going away to college to me didn't represent like freedom finally. It's like I kind of had a lot of freedom.
But it's a very specific kind of freedom that creates the euphoria.
It's like going on spring break for 4 years.
Yes, it is. It is. And because your freedom is your decision making, but you still feel insular. Well, at UGA you do, because it's the campus go dogs. The campus is gorgeous, and it's like, it's not in a city, which I think is great. Like, I love that. It's its own thing, and there's a downtown, and it's just all bars and restaurants, and you're just, it's heaven. It is so fun.
You should move back to
Athens. I would.
And just
live there.
Yeah, just feel it.
When I go back and I like walk the campus, I get so fluttery.
Yeah.
It's such a special place. Anyway, so it's set in college, and
I don't have that. Yeah. I go back and I like it a lot. And I remember feeling, that I can't believe I'm here feeling when I was there.
Yeah.
Which that's a nice memory.
Of course.
Yeah.
You're proud of yourself.
Yes, I was proud of myself. I kind of almost couldn't believe I was there.
Yeah.
I felt like they might sniff me out.
Yeah.
And then anthro was quite exciting. So I liked the intellectual stuff I was learning. But I didn't go to bars with friends and go booty bumping.
Well, UCLA is not that kind of campus.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And a lot of these schools that are very prestigious, but that and that I would maybe want to go to in some part of my brain, like NYU, is not like that. It's just all across the city. So there's something so great about it, like being its own thing. I wonder if you came to Athens now and you walked the campus, how you would feel. I bet you would feel like, oh, this is really cool.
I spent a lot of time in Athens.
Yeah, but
not walking around the campus.
You were high.
No, I was.
You were drunk.
I was
and
working,
high,
so I wasn't.
And also drunk.
I wasn't quite an alcoholic yet for a lot of those trips. Yeah.
Well, then so you were young.
Yeah, I would go there to work.
Too young. You were too young to understand.
Probably too young. I mostly remember the chickens that would fall off the semis.
Yeah,
on
the
on
stinky,
and off ramps,
the loop. They call that the loop.
Big poultry center.
It smells so bad.
I love it so much.
I miss it so much. Anyway, so sexy show.
Do you have a particular person, or just all the scenes? All the scenes are titillating. They all work, or have you locked on to a certain protagonist?
Yeah, there's the main guy. He is Katie Seagal's son in real life.
Yeah,
and he's like broody and hot, and he has a Ben Affleck quality.
A little bit naughty.
He's a bit naughty.
I wonder if he would be good for you.
I obviously Googled him. He's 29, so he's not for me. No, that's young for me.
Oh, that's fine.
That's him.
Yeah.
Right now in the show, he has short hair. This is him with long hair.
Okay, a little bit even more bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they ever have a spank his bottom cherry red.
He sounds exactly like Frito.
There's some overlap. I mean, like
It's
neither of
the
them are in
same.
Mensa. I think even though he's a doctor, which is the greatest part, is he's a doctor somehow.
Sure.
But I wanted to say earmark when you said it out loud because you were referencing. Have you started the Pee Wee Herman documentary?
No.
His life is so interesting.
Yeah.
And he went to CalArts from Florida.
Oh.
And he's older than I would have thought, right? I guess because he was playing a kid. But
Very confusing.
he was at CalArts, and you see these scenes, and he was in these and his cast members were David Hasselhoff and Katie Seagal
Oh.
and someone else. And
Oh
they're
my-
all like, it's so fun to see them at like CalArts.
Wow.
And they all made it. Yeah.
Fun.
There was a fourth person, but I love the notion of like each person carved out such different niches.
Yeah.
And Katie's like a tremendous actor.
Yeah.
Hasselhoff is Baywatch.
Come on.
Pee Wee Herman's the most unique thing in what he did.
Yeah.
Elvira.
Elvira, you're a little too, are you too young for Elvira?
I know the name.
She was humongous. She was like, I guess she would remind you of someone on the Addams Family.
Yeah, I thought
She had big boobs that were out. I was on a trip once where she was there as her normal person herself. And she was
Cassandra
awesome.
Peterson.
Yeah, I think she was also, she was in the Groundlings. I don't know if she was at CalArts,
Oh.
but she was in the Groundlings. Look at that makeup.
Yeah, I know about her. I thought Elvira was like a character in a movie or something.
She is a character and she would pop up in things.
Okay.
She's a little bit like Pee Wee Herman, like
Oh.
character that went everywhere. And then you come to find out that, Paul
Mhm.
Rubens he was like, Pee Wee was a full-time character a lot
Yeah.
before he was even that character.
Wow.
It was very,
Also, rest in peace.
Yeah.
That's sad.
really sad. Great doc, though. I'm excited to watch.
How do we know how he passed?
Cancer.
Aw, sad.
Yeah.
He was only 70. That's too young.
It is too young. But I wouldn't have thought he was 70. Like in my mind, Pee Wee Herman's probably currently 58.
I think Pee Wee Herman's always been 70.
You do, yeah. Yeah. That's my 12-year age gap on you.
Well,
'Cause
no, it's because he looks so strange as Pee Wee Herman.
Well, because he's a boy, but he's a man.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Just to remind anyone who didn't hear my retelling of when I showed my kids
And
Pee Wee
I was
Herman.
there for this. And I was also seeing it for the first time.
And everyone was confused.
And none of it made any sense.
And then I got to see it through y'all's eyes, which I was like, oh, yeah, I guess I never did figure out whether he's a boy or not. He rides a bike around, but does he live on his own, but he's a boy?
Also, okay, if you like search Pee Wee Herman, you know, when it gives an overview and it has like Wikipedia, like the family, it says Herman, father,
Yes.
but deceased.
The dad is deceased.
But like, is he real? Aren't these characters?
Oh, wait. Now I'm confused.
Yeah, I think this is like Pee Wee Herman's dad, Herman.
Oh, on the show, he was Herman.
But it's deceased. Did he die? Like, what's going
I
on?
don't know.
Oh my God, the sister's name's Hermione.
On the show or
Pee Wee's
Paul?
sister's name
Okay.
is Hermione.
Okay. Yeah, he's a really interesting story where he was fully out of the closet.
Pee Wee or Paul?
Paul.
Okay.
And then went back in the closet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, is it that he went back in the closet or he became bi
No.
before bi was a thing?
No. He went back in the closet.
Oh.
Yeah. Which is so weird because he like became self-conscious about it, which is so fascinating.
Interesting.
You would never think.
Oh my gosh. Do you think it's because he didn't like the idea that like Pee Wee was then being associated with being gay? Because
That's what I would have assumed, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you got to protect kids from this
Right.
in the 80s. Pee Wee can't be gay.
Exactly.
That would have been my assumption. But no, it was more he fell in love
Oh.
and he lost himself. He lost all of his ambition by just being happily
Happy.
in love. But the
Aw.
relationship wasn't perfect, as none are. And I think he got to a point where he's like, what happened? I think his own dad said to him, like, Herman said, I'm happy for you, but I think you've lost all your ambition. I think this relationship can't be the only thing you're pursuing in life.
Oh, wow.
And so I think a lot of it, I think he maybe felt like if he were satisfied in that domain, he wouldn't have been as
oh my God.
ambitious in the other.
That's interesting.
And then he had this kind of character that was Pee-wee before the makeup and everything, but he would be on, he'd be on other guest starring on shows, and he's kind of acting like Pee-wee, or he went on the dating game as Pee-wee as like a bit.
Oh.
And the girl picked him.
Oh.
Yes.
The girl wanted to date Pee-wee.
Yes, before we knew what Pee-wee was.
We still don't know what he is.
We don't. No one will ever know. Is he a boy? Boys shouldn't be on the dating game.
Exactly. It gets so complicated so quick when you start pulling the thread of Pee-wee.
Of Pee-wee.
Like, Pee-wee is such a stupid name.
I know.
It's really funny.
It is, yeah. There's a reason I've already forgot it. He stole it from, I want to say some toy or something he had. So he's an adult, but he's calling himself Pee-wee.
I can't.
It's a little perverse.
It is. It starts to.
You're starting to feel the hidden, the closetness is seeping out to other places.
But but then it doesn't mean he was a pedophile just because he was gay.
Oh, I'm not saying that at all.
I know, but Pee-wee.
Pee-wee's like, I want to be a Pee-wee.
Dancing on pedophilia.
If you hook up with him.
Right.
A harmonica brand. The
What?
1-inch harmonica brand is where the name came from.
Oh, right.
Oh, well, it's a harmonica brand.
He had a harmonica, and the brand name was Pee-wee.
Oh.
And I think that was part of his,
I might watch that after I finish my sexy show.
Okay. If you have anything left.
If I have any juice in the tank.
If you don't. Shrivel up and die.
Uh,
They would say boys would go blind from masturbating. I don't know what they said about women. What would that happen to them? They would shrivel up, die of dehydration?
no, I think it's like we get to because we have multiple orgasms.
Right, but the going blind was a threat. Like, it's basically a deterrent for masturbating. You'll go blind.
Yeah.
I don't even understand that.
Yeah, it's like syphilis. I think it's like you give yourself syphilis.
Sure, something. But what were they saying to girls?
Like, you're a slut, you'll never find love.
You're a fucking whore.
You're nasty.
Yeah, you're despicable.
And you're disgusting and you stink.
Yeah. And will you join me in the bedroom?
Well, we have. There's an upcoming episode that's sexy. So this is like.
It's in the air.
It's in the air, yeah.
Yeah, spring, summer. It's a time. Yeah.
Summer fling, spring.
What
fling.
episode are you on this section?
4.
4.
Yeah.
How many are there?
That's a good question. I mean, one of the episodes is called. It's called.
Eat my ass?
No, take off. What is it? Take off your pants. Is it take off your pants? Take off your pants and jacket.
Yeah. That's a Blink-182.
It's like a thing you say in 5th grade.
Okay.
Is the name of a episode.
Take off your pants and jacket.
Like,
That's
it's
funny.
essentially porn.
I think these are song titles from bands because they've got Sugar We're Going Down Swinging as
Oh.
a song. That was a Blink-182 song, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket.
Oh, it was,
Maybe
but
it's a
they took it
Rob.
from the 5th graders.
Rob anchored it out of the perverse into the
You
music.
did,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
but they're doing it
They're
to
playing
be
games,
nasty.
reindeer games.
They're nasty.
Do you want to do facts?
Yeah, I think we should move into facts.
Okay, wonderful.
Alex Cooper facts. There really aren't very many facts at all because this was such a personal story.
Okay. Could you make some up because Groot's here?
Groot's here, and I do feel sad that he's here for one where there aren't that many facts, and I know he's looking to me to give facts.
I've told him that you have all the facts.
I know.
Yeah.
But I don't want to make up facts because I'm very honest.
Yes, that's another quality of Monica's. Is she's very
Groot?
honest. She has a lot of integrity. He's so happy. He doesn't mind. This guy he can't ruffle his feathers. Yeah. I think everyone should have a Groot.
I know.
Everyone should carry one around.
Okay, so we talk about couples therapy at the beginning of the show, and since then have you finished it?
I haven't finished it.
Okay,
Have
since
you?
then I've started and finished it. I also did what Alex did. I watched the whole thing
One sitting.
in one fell swoop, as I tend to do.
You do this always.
I do.
And so my question to you is, are you only allowed to start things at like 4 p.m. as a rule? Because you know what you're going to do?
No, I don't.
You lie to yourself.
I lie. Yes, I lie to myself, and it really fucks me over. I mean, so this happened with you.
Yeah.
The
Don't.
show on Netflix.
This is going to be a battle.
For the listener, Dax really hates it now that
Yeah. And
we're
I've
living
expressed
in.
it, and I've asked very kindly and gently if she could say, the show You or the Netflix show You, but she always just says you and looks right at me.
And then
Just
I
like
say-
the Laura Ingraham.
I
issue.
do, because I want to live in that video.
You want me to go, so stupid.
Oh, there's a show called Dax Shepard on Netflix.
Oh, there's a show called Dax Shepard on Netflix. This is stupid. We've never done a show on measles. Also, how was there a fucking episode of You about measles?
Yeah, there was.
This isn't about a serial killer?
Yes, but
Did he infect someone with measles to kill him?
No, no spoilers, but a kid gets measles.
Oh, okay.
Because of
This is like a C storyline?
yeah, in one of the seasons, a kid gets measles by a family that is unvaccinated,
Okay.
which leads to the demise of that family.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
Got-
I have finished You. It was 5 seasons. I finished it.
Okay.
And by the end, I was like, I have to finish this tonight because this is interfering with my well-being. I am up so late. I feel hung over the next day, like when your kid goes to a sleepover and they get no sleep, and
And eat
then
too
the
much
next day
candy.
they're just like dead.
Yeah.
That's what my life was.
Uh-huh.
So I
You've been
finished.
kind of in a fog.
I don't know what's been going on
Yeah.
other than like what he's been doing, Joe Goldberg.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And
Well, you're not going to believe this. This was completely unimaginable when you entered your fog.
what?
But Elon and Trump are no longer friends.
What? I can't even imagine how that could happen. What a shock. 2 very reasonable people. I can't believe it.
From the second they became best friends, I was like,
Duh.
what's the over under on this friendship?
I know. Just craziness.
Anywho.
I really enjoyed it. And I have to say, Penn Badgley, really hot.
Oh, I was like,
Also-
is she going to say great actor or sexy?
I actually was going to say great actor.
Great actor.
It is, that role is tough. He has to play so many facets, evil, but kind and
hot.
in love, like that. Because that's what's like propelling all this. He convinces himself he's in love. He's doing all this out of love.
Uh-huh.
And you believe him, which is weird because it's very complicated. I heard him do an interview before I saw the show. I heard him do an interview where he was basically like, I'm really ready to be done with this show.
Oh, okay.
And I thought it
So
was
maybe
like
you shouldn't have had him
kind
on the
of-
promo tour.
I thought it was kind of like, that sounds sort of ungrateful. And then I watched it and I was like, of course, living in that head for that long. He said he started when he was 30 and he's about to be 40. So this is like 10 years of time that's heady.
That reminds me, there was a moment on week 3 of Seth and Matt and I's promotional tour from Without a Paddle, which I know when they were on, we discussed a little bit how loony we all went by the end, where
Yes.
I punched Matthew in the middle of an interview with a boxing glove.
Yep.
And there were starting to be some murmurs of, that's also the tour that I got kicked off Conan on.
Oh.
And I think there was definitely some murmurs of like, it might be time to pull them off the road because they might start damaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like you were.
Ah.
Wow.
Mm.
Anyway, that's a ding 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 because Penn's been on Call Her Daddy.
Oh, he has.
So anyway, I finished that and then I watched Sirens in one day.
I want to see that. Is it good?
Yeah.
What if that was on the poster? Yeah. Monica Padman, did you like it? Yeah.
To me, a kind of a slowish start-ish, but by the end, I really, really liked the message. I liked what they did. It's only 5 episodes,
Oh.
limited series. I cannot get enough of Megan Fahey. I love her. White Lotus season 2.
Yes.
I think she's such a good actress.
Yeah.
She's so expressive, but also very natural.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get enough of her.
Well, I love her.
I love her.
I love him.
Anywho, so I watched all of Sirens
Mm-hmm.
and And I watched all of Couples Therapy. And now I'm out of shows.
You've done about 150 hours of TV since you started the bit.
I know. You know what? You're right. The pit got me back into TV.
I know, because you were kind of out
I
around New
was.
Year's. And I didn't
Before
like
that.
But then now you've gone so hard. I don't know about that.
Why? Can you just accept me for who I am?
I do. But what's so lovely about you is whatever you're doing is coming out. So it's like every guest, we got to find out if they like the pit and then you.
One thing about the show that's great is it does explore the original question when I first brought up the show. And I was like, it's weird. Like, he's hot.
Yeah.
And I know he's not supposed to be hot.
You feel bad
You
for
feel
thinking he's hot.
bad. And then, but I am against vigilantes in real life. You know, that whole
Yeah.
conversation that it sparks, it answers it.
Oh, it does.
It kind of goes right at that.
Oh, good.
And in the finale, that whole idea of us as a society doing that is addressed.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. It's a good
Well, before
show.
you stop over consuming TV, will you please watch Mobland so we can talk about
I
something?
want to talk about it with you, but I don't think it's for me.
It is. It's for
Really?
everybody. It's like Game of Thrones. It's awesome.
Okay. I really.
It's so good. Every single person that's watching it is like obsessed with how good it is.
Okay. Think about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Couples Therapy, great show.
Yeah.
Great
Orna,
season.
friend of the pod.
Orna, friend of the pod.
Oh, when I posted that picture of Groot, someone wrote Groot, friend of the pod. That made me so happy.
He
Groot,
is a friend of the pod. He is.
'Cause he had that whole story. He's like a friend of the pod.
Sure. Well, now he really is. Friend of the pod means you've been on the podcast. So he is now a real friend of the
I
pod.
think you can be a character and be a friend of the pod. Like Amy Hansen's never been on the show, but she's definitely a friend of the pod.
That's not how I
That's not your
not how
definition.
I use
That's
it.
fair. Yeah.
Okay. So couples therapy is a fact that it's good
Yeah.
and that people should watch it.
That is a fact. Did I tell you the funny thing about Jerry Springer, that doc? You didn't watch it, right?
Mm-mm.
But you saw it, I'm sure, on Netflix. It was like always at the top for a while.
Okay.
It's fucking wild. It's one of these situations where it's like you're reminded of what we lived through and how normal it seemed, but is absolute insanity.
Yeah.
You know, skinheads hitting people with chairs,
Yeah.
naked chicks out there. I mean, it was bonkers. But what was so funny is one of the segment producers was saying they did have people come on that were lying, right? Because they just wanted to be on Jerry Springer. And she's saying, you know, these people that came on live, she goes, it serves me right because I had broken our rule. We had an official rule. Nobody from Boston's allowed.
Oh my God. That's great.
That fucking cracked me up so hard. Like, as a whole city, you're too fucking untrustworthy to be on Jerry Springer.
What is it about Boston? Because there's other cities that to me are the same.
I think Boston's wilder than any city. The folks in Boston are wild.
Even more than Miami?
Yeah. They're a different
Wow.
kind. I mean, like Southie and Charleston
Sure.
and all. I mean, it's just they go hard.
But so does, yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess. It's just funny to
I've
me.
been to all these cities, and I'll tell you that Boston is the place that I am most on high alert. There's
Wow.
always a young dude that's ready to pop off and do something absolutely crazy. That just
Yeah.
seems standard.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting.
Yes. And I relate to them because they're like, when I always try to say, like, if you think you're white trash or you've been called white trash, you come to own that and enjoy the fact that you're disgusting these fancy people.
Right.
Like, at some point you just got to go like, oh yeah, I'm fucking disgusting. You know, like
Yeah, you're owning it.
I feel like just as an ethos, they've embraced that a bit.
Okay. Redheads and anesthetic. Redheads have been found to be more resistant to local anesthetics like lidocaine and may need more systemic anesthesia like inhaled anesthetics to achieve the same level of sedation. This is thought to be related to the MC1R gene mutation, which also determines the red hair color and may influence pain sensitivity. Also, that's it. Not very many facts because, again, it was a very personal story and we're grateful we got to hear it. Really candid and lovely.
Yes.
And I'm sorry that she went through that.
It's fucking, I hate it.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
do
thing
too.
you've dedicated your whole life to, your greatest love in life,
It's
is
sad.
completely taken from you.
Yeah, it's not really unfair.
I hate it.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, love
But I
you.
don't hate you.
I don't hate you.
I hate you. The
I
show.
love you.
The show.
The show.
Bye.
Bye.